All right, when we are live.
Hey, hello, welcome to Not a Burger TV. We are flying by the seat of our pants today, as they say. Just flying up the driveway, and we got a little bit of technical stuff to take care of, as always, but we're still figuring it out. It's okay.
Oh, what up, Adam? He's right here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome. I have no chat today, also, so you'll have to play telephone with me.
I'll have to tell you what it is that they want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
And then I'll tell you, and then you tell them.
Okay. So what is this? Today's episode 4.
Yep.
I was gonna say what?
I don't know where my head's at today.
It's already that kind of episode. All right, we're done. We're already
That's all. Folks.
Today's canceled, folks.
Almost. Yeah, we couldn't get the camera figured out. I gotta buy a new one. I'm in the market.
Yeah.
So what's up with you, Robbie? What are you feeling today?
Well, you had a topic that I think would be interesting, but I had to go back and watch last week's episode.
Oh yeah. Any retractions or corrections from last week, or any of the other ones?
I just realized I put on the wrong scene. Hold on.
Oh hi.
There we go.
See, like I said, yeah, it's one of those days.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Hey, all right.
Hey, now we're here.
Sorry,
my bad. That was completely my bad. I hit the wrong.
Let's be honest. You're not here for our looks.
Yeah, exactly.
You're here for our voices.
So let's start that over again. So hey, what's up? Flying by the
Cheers.
steam.
Yeah. This is a weird day. I got a lot done today though, but I'm a little bit worn thin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff done today too.
I got all 5 of my hairs cut.
I see that. You're looking much better than you did last week.
I saw at the trailers and stuff for Endgame, and I was like, man, Jeremy Renner looks like a freaking idiot in these. And then I actually watched the movie, and I was like,
and then you got his haircut.
Like that. Yeah.
Is that was
not exactly, but I was like, all right, I get it.
You brought a picture. Can you make me look like him? And
can you make me rich and famous, please?
Can you make me look like this? And the barber just looked at you and said, no, you're a lost cause.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. No. Yeah, man, just work, training, and now I'm here. So
yeah, I've been watching Sinner. Have you seen Sinner?
No, I have not.
It's pretty good. It's basically like murders in small towns that kind of like unravel nests of corruption connecting multiple people.
Where's that?
Over the years.
What's that on?
I think it's Netflix.
Okay,
pretty sure it's Netflix. But yeah, that's what I was doing before I got here. And then I just flew out the door.
Yeah, like usually Dave's here. So I know I've said it before, and I know that Adam, we had that experience over the weekend with Dave.
Woo!
But Dave has been notorious to be one where we would tell him that we needed him at a show at like 9 o'clock because he would show up at 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Like anytime there would be any kind of event, if we knew that Dave needed to be somewhere, we would tell him he needed to be there an hour before because then he would show up on time.
But the first day for this podcast.
But the podcast and everything, Dave has shown up on time.
Early,
and when I pulled up to the driveway today, usually he's here because I'm out training.
Thursdays. Right?
Well, pretty much every day of the week, I'm out training, and then I pull up to the driveway, and Dave's there, sitting on my doorway, like
you see,
hey.
Just the glow, the underglow of like my deep set eyes waiting for you in the dark.
Exactly. Hey. No. It's not that creepy. He's like a lost puppy. Like I've been here for a few hours, just waiting for you.
Well, I would be here like all day on Thursday. We're like, let's make videos.
You would, but of course I can't. I can't.
We'll figure that part out. But I like to do the slow Full Metal Jacket turnaround where he's like, "Hello, Joker."
Oh yeah. But
7.62 millimeter.
Yeah, but Dave on Sunday when we went to go hang out with Fletch,
I stayed up till like 8 a.m. that day.
Apparently he was up till 8 a.m. But we had no response from him. We were like, all right, noon. Sometime after.
Could you give us a ride? Could you do this?
Sometime after noon, let's hang out. Dave just went MIA. So I was like, all right, fine, Fletch. I'll go pick you up.
If you think it's bad for you, think how my wife must feel. I wake up at 1 maybe because I stayed up till 8 a.m. We'll talk about my sleep habits later. But and then I wake up and she's like, I have today off. Here's your breakfast. And I'm like, I have to go. I have obligations. So I can get to see you. Nothing for you today.
You're an awful...
With no advance warning, with no warning that it's going to be like, hey, I'm unavailable this day.
You're an awful human being.
Yeah, I'm not good at scheduling and all that. But about my sleep, I've been... for the longest time, just feeling like shit all the time and not knowing what's wrong with me. And it turns out I have sleep apnea. So I basically like never feel rested from my sleep.
So what's that caused from?
Being overweight.
There you go.
I'm not that. I mean, I could stand to lose a couple 100 pounds, but anyway. So I've been wearing a mouth guard, and now I can sleep less and feel great, which has led to a decline in my sleeping habit because
Oh, decline. Oh, because you can
because
sleep
I get
less.
better sleep. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I get you.
So that's me. If there's any wiggle room to ruin your life, like I'll find my way.
Hey man, I'm telling you, I can help you out there. If you want to lose some weight.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go to your dojo and all that. I would love to go to Kyokushin.
No, but
little shameless self promotion.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna promote the dojo here, but yeah. So I know. So we're gonna go right into it because I'm excited to actually.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I'm kind of excited to talk about this topic. Dave texted me 2 days ago with, "Hey, this is what I want to talk about."
I don't want to forget.
It's not. I want to tell you the topic. I just want you to know. I don't want to forget. Something like that. So he didn't want to forget himself, so he texted me about it. So
we're getting better at preparing this thing too.
No, it's just always last minute.
No, we got this.
No, but it's actually an interesting topic. So, Dave, you want to? You want to hear first what Flesh calls you?
What do you say?
It says, "Way to call him fat, buddy."
I mean, as long as I don't stand up, you can't tell that I'm fat. The rest of me is like normally proportioned, But then if we like end it and I stand up before the camera's off, you'll know that. Like, what the fuck, dude? And I don't even have an excuse because I don't drink, so it's not, well, kind of drink a little bit, but it's not like a beer belly or anything. But anyways.
So the topic that we want to talk about, Dave brought up.
Yeah. So. I was at the grocery store, and I had this moment where I froze, and I was like thinking of run-ins with the Brocode that I've had. I was like, am I a Brocode violator? I thought of a couple of very specific situations, and I was like, I wonder where other people stand on these personal stories that I have. Yeah, I think yours is more theoretical, but my personal run-ins with the Brocode and how other people might react in this situation, how you might react in this situation specifically, because I don't have the chat, so I can't ask them today. Yeah. But so I'd say I had like I don't watch enough soccer, so I can't use their like card. Yeah. Yellow card. Like,
yellow card, red card.
I don't know which. Is there even a green card in soccer, or is
there's no green card?
Is a green card specifically just for immigration? Like there's no green card.
I don't think any sport uses a green card. And hold on, are you talking about we have to wait 45 minutes because you got to finish streaming there, Red Lion Head? but go on.
Yeah. So Brocode. My green level, I'll start low. My green level infraction with the Brocode is when I was at UCF. And, it's real common for a bunch of people to have shared friends. And we had kind of a clique when we got to college. When I lived at college, the first time I went to college.
Your first freshman year?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I like to call it.
Exactly. So, we had half of a group from high school and then another group that we picked up like from our living situation and from our classes. So we had a pretty good, thing going, friend group. And whenever a new girl comes into the group, everybody's like, ooh, a new girl.
It's kind of like that what we were talking about, the girls in the IT. It's like record scratch. Yeah, everybody looks
exactly.
Like, oh, hey.
And then it's like, so...
Yeah, we're still working on things here and there, Joe. So
it's a labor of love. Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll actually I'll invest in that next.
I'm working on getting a sign for this as well. But
cool.
Anyways, so there a new girl came to the group, very cute, smart, fun, and everybody who was single was, not everybody, but almost everybody was interested. So people were like flirting, mild flirting, heavy flirting with various levels of success. And in the beginning, there's kind of like a friendly rivalry, like, hey, we both know that we like this girl, right? Because we were cool with each other or whatever. And someone's got to win eventually, right? Like, I don't mean to make it sound like it's just an objectified, contest, but eventually someone's going to pull ahead. And eventually it was me. And I was living with my friends on campus. Now, when I say living, I mean squatting, because they all had dorms, and I was there enough that it became silly for me to leave at some point. It was like, why don't you just sleep in the common room? You're here, you hear, and I take pride in the fact that I usually get along with people pretty well and make a good impression, so that people wouldn't get sick of me that much where I could be there. And when I told them like, hey, I think I just won. I just kissed this girl, and there was 2 people present who both lived there and were both interested in her, were like, Dave, I think you finally outgrown your welcome here. And it wasn't like slam the gavel condemnation. It was kind of like, bro, what? Come on. But like I said, now looking back at it, I'm like, someone's got to win eventually, right? Like whoever's gonna pull ahead is gonna get that blue shell. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna be like, "What are you doing, man?"
Well, I kind of had the same situation. Since we'll go.
It's very common. if maybe not at the same time, but it's very common in a group of friends. They'll be like, "Oh, so and so broke up," and then you'd be like, "Hey, bro, is it cool if I,
Well, we'll get into that because there's been situations like that.
There's so many ways to violate the Brocode.
But if you're talking about like this is your green level, the bottom, it's a slight infraction. I kind of had the same thing with one of my exes a few years back. Wow, shit, like 7 years ago now, I think, something like that. Her and her friends started hanging around my group of friends that we had, and we had
of course,
like parties all the time. I didn't know that she had been talking to him too at the same time as talking to me. And
that's not your fault.
And then her and I eventually ended up hanging out more, and then we ended up dating. But when we were starting to get closer and stuff like that, then he told me and she told me, it's like, this had gone on in the back, but before. So I kind of had the same thing.
Did he expect you to stop at that point?
I don't think he expected me to stop.
I'm gonna get you hit through with that card, bro.
I don't think that he expected me to stop. It was kind of like you were saying, that kind of competition.
Right.
Who was going to win in the end? I did, but
it's a very fine line too, because they're your friends and you want to share your excitement with them. You want to be like, "Yo, I think this is really working out for me, bro." But instead, it's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry to do this to you, man. Like,
I think that's the only time that's like that. But
you never been hit with any like yellows or reds, like full on stole.
Your
bro's girl.
There has been. I mean, I haven't stolen, but somebody that we know has taken somebody that I had a past with.
Oh, okay. Well, since I can't think of it off the top of my head, why don't you run me through the scenario, and then I'll tell you how I would react.
So when we were living together, there was this one girl that I started talking to. She started showing up at a show. I forgot how. I remember it was a friend of a friend, and I started hanging out at their apartment, and then she started coming over to our place. Her and I had a few. We hooked up a couple times, and then after that, she started dating someone else that was in our friend.
It Mike?
I'm not gonna say names.
Well, I just can't think of. First of all, I don't remember off the top of my head who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And second of all, you and Mike are so close that I can see that your friendship would survive that even. You know what I mean? At the time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there were other situations that
Yeah. I hate that. I hate that we have to be so vague.
There are other situations with Mike's relationship, with Mike and my relationship, but it was a thing. That was. I was seeing this person. I don't think that her and I ever agreed that we were going to become like a serious thing.
So neither of you were pursuing something from the other.
I mean, I think that if it were to continue on, it may have been a serious thing.
If you had just kind of like let it breathe and
have
its time.
But yeah, the girl, she was over at our place, pretty much twice a week, something like that.
Yeah.
We'd be hanging out. She'd be,
she didn't give you like a detour. She wasn't like, "Hey man, something's happening."
No. I don't know what it was. It was. I think that I just told her like, we're good.
We're good.
And then this other person swept in and was like, they ended up dating and stuff like that for a long time. But
so do you think she like wanted a boyfriend, and when you were like, "We're good," she was kind of like, "Well, I'll show you."
I don't know because I wasn't sure what was going on in her mind at the time because then
you didn't talk about it.
Things got weird. Things didn't really get weird, but like she would show up and just like it was kind of like the.
I really wish I knew her. I mean, are we really gonna hurt anyone's feelings if you tell me? You can tell me after.
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Afterward.
But yeah, it's such
oh my god. So we got one over here.
Sure, let's have
that. I had a guy introduce me to a girl in a setup kind of way. Then a few weeks later, they were dead. They were dating.
I think that's actually very common.
I've heard of that. That happened before, but man, that sucks for you, Joe. Man,
it's like, let me tell you all the great things about my friend, and then let me tell you about all the great things about my single friend, and then it's like.
Wait,
those things sound great.
I don't want him having her.
I'm single.
Yeah, I don't want him having her.
Is that a natural? Is that a natural like testosterone competition where it's like, "Hello, friend. Here is a what's the word I'm looking for? Here's a valid female.
Hello, darkness, my
I am
old
a
friend.
male. I also like females. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the lizard brain is like,
Yeah, exactly.
no,
Exactly.
I win.
Hello, let me introduce you to my friend. Wait a minute.
Let me introduce you to my mating rival.
Start pounding your chest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's so many different like levels of just in the we've already explored so many different ways to violate the bro code, and you can patch it up afterwards. You know, I feel like maybe in your situation, she just didn't want to have the conversation with you. She was like, you know,
well, like I said, it was so many years ago that I don't even remember. I don't even remember. It was just like we just grew apart, or if I told her we're good, and then she ended up going off something else. But then it started making me think. You know, I was like, so was she getting to me to get to him?
Also very common.
That could be a thing.
Do you guys do that move? I've seen girls do that move, but I've never seen guys do that move.
Well, Red Lion Head, because Red Lion Head, he's in Norway.
Yeah, I'm really curious about
he just asked a question. Do Americans really date that much, or am I weird in this way? So the thing is, and I would say for myself, you know, it goes to like not talking politics, but it goes to like, you know, people are kind of conservative with their body, or they're very liberal with their body.
I think people are conservative with their emotions too, because they're like, I don't want to let you in and let you get close.
Exactly. So some people, yes, I think that there is also a younger generation, the hookup generation, that there are. I mean, I can't speak on anybody else's behalf, like generations prior to my own. But I feel like there is more hookup. There is more in the hookup generation with the internet, like we were talking about, like we talked about last week, Tinder and all that stuff. It's more accessible. I myself was not one to, and I mean, I'm still not one that just like, you know, one night stands and all this stuff. Most of my relationships have been long-term relationships. Yes, when we were living together, you know, it was
our relationship.
Well, yes. I mean, it's still ongoing. 10 years strong. 10 years strong, baby. But anyways, it was what am I gonna say? Like, I think that because we were out all the time, either promoting his band or me, Mike, we would just go out to the bars. Sure. We would just go out to the bars all the time, and we would have people, because we knew a lot of people at the time.
Yeah, we had a big circle.
Yeah, we had a big circle.
We had our college circles. We had our high school circles, because I'm still in the town that I went to high school in.
Yeah.
So
and then you know, and then the other bands that we hung out with, they would call us to their parties and stuff like that. We end up meeting a whole bunch of people, and you know, I hate to say, you know, people just throwing themselves at us, but you know, we weren't like scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to find something.
Went from like small fish to big fish, like just from your exposure to people. You know, if you look at just making a good impression on anyone, you know, you had many more chances to flip the coin and see how it fell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like I said, it's just. Some people are kind of conservative, like you said, with their emotions or with their body, or some people are very liberal with their bodies.
Or
and
one and not the other. They'll be like really liberal with their body and really conservative.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people that are like that. They're very conservative about their emotions, but they're liberal about their bodies because they're like this. The body is my temple. This is, and we talked about last week. The body is my temple. This is how I find pleasure. I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to use it to my advantage, or not really to my advantage, to my own benefit. But
I've known many people in the working world where it's like they just don't have time. They're like, you know, I have an emotional and physical need. I only have 4 or 5 hours in a week that I can devote to it. It's like I don't have time for anything other than a hookup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're that driven, if they're that motivated.
But I do, and that's interesting that you bring that up, Red Lionhead, because I'm also curious about how it is on, you know, the other side of the pond. I don't see. I'm not sure what the social norm is over there, exactly, the dating norm or anything like that. Which I would be interested to talk to you about how different social. I would guess social activities is really what how it is over there compared to here.
Even when we were, you know, had a good batting average. Yeah, I can still count on my hands the people I slept with. Like, even being the lead, the guy in the front that's supposed to be Mr. Popular, I still was like very selective, turning people down. Like, no.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, I mean, again, for me too, most of the people that, you know, there were probably a handful that like I hooked up with, and then other than that, they were like, you know, had kind of like a semi-serious relationship on and off.
Yeah.
When we were living together and doing that whole thing, and then afterwards I had a serious relationship. And it's like, I've pretty much been in serious relationships my whole
me too.
dating life.
I always comedically say serial monogamy because like when you're in a serious relationship and it feels good and there's intimacy and trust and all that stuff, and then you get out of it, I can criticize myself in this way. I'm ready to get back into it again, and it's so unfair to the other person to like put that expectation on them, put that weight on them.
Right.
And that's why in one of the first podcasts I said that I loved like a drowning man like hanging on to someone who's trying to save him. It's like, I'm gonna kill us both. I'm gonna love you so hard that we're both gonna not be happy.
Jeez.
And that's just like hindsight. I grew up. My parents were hippies, and Hallmark cards and Disney movies gave me this kind of like super unrealistic expectation that I just fueled and fell into. So the worse things got, the tighter I squeezed until everything just got unbearable for everybody involved. So I apologize. I apologize for everyone I've ever just completely ruined their life for 6 months, or vice versa, just blew something way out of proportion that
6
was
months?
just not.
You mean like 60, or you ruined their life for just that 60 seconds and then moved on?
No. I ruined.
I'm kidding.
No, the 60 seconds was all right, but the conversation for the next 6 months was like, God, leave me alone. But
So all right. So back to the Brocode thing. So I'll say, like I said, so that's like so I talked about that like green card, that like low par, and then I think that like that situation that I gave, that second situation, I think it's kind of like one of the ones that's like, all right, this is a direct, hey, I was with this person even though we weren't a thing. You then, but then again, it could be, was she also getting to me to get to him? Yeah. There's a whole lot of things that go to it.
I think communication is, everybody knows, communication is important, but like even in friend groups, all it takes is a sentence. All it takes is a text message to be like, can we not blow this up? Like,
hey man, we good?
Yeah,
we good?
Just let me know what I should do. Like, I've been at a party where I was like attracted to somebody and I made out with them, and then the next day found out that they had a boyfriend, and I was like, it's not my fault. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But and then I don't know the guy, so I'm not going to be like, yo, you need to. I didn't know you've been in a relationship with this girl for 3 years, but she did not act like she was in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but again, he wasn't my bro, so no bro code violation for me. Totally her bro code violation.
Right, but also you told him like, "Hey, I didn't know that this. I didn't
know him at all. I still don't know his face or his name to this day.
You did your due diligence.
Yeah, exactly.
You did your due diligence,
right.
And that's just it. I think that's the only situation that I've been in that somebody's been like, somebody that I was with, then went off to be with one of my friends. I mean, sucks for Makoa Kao.
Yeah, that's
from Makoa Kao, where it's just like, oh, I'm gonna hook you up with this friend. I'm taking her. She is mine.
Then why did you introduce me? It's funny that you mentioned that because I've been in the same situation in college.
You have?
A friend introduced me to a girl, and I was like, she seems really cool. I'm glad she's in this friend group, but like, she's not really my type. We're not really hitting it off. And then he ends up with her for like years, like 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, Redline had said the bro code should only apply to friends if you're friends with the bro. So yeah, exactly. Right. So it didn't. You weren't at fault for that one thing. Hey, I made out with her. I didn't know that she was your whatever. But I guess that if we're talking bro code, strictly bro code, then we're talking about your friends and stuff like that.
Right.
So
the bond between brothers.
So I guess that one thing that this is a question that when I Makoa Kao, laws of the jungle apply unless you're bros.
But even then too, there's some violations where it's like, I don't even want to have that argument. I don't want to have that discussion. Like, we're just gonna pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah. So I was talking about this topic because he texted me a couple days ago telling me about the topic, and I was told some of the guys at my dojo, they're like, oh yeah, I have a podcast, and they're like, oh really? And I told him, well, this week we're gonna talk about this. And he wanted me to propose this question. All right, so
I'm going into this cold. This is a complete surprise for me.
The question was, does the bro code extend till after death? So, say we'll use you and I as an instance. You die, I'm there consoling Teeny, and then all of a sudden her and I are together.
Okay.
I say yes, that the bro code does extend till after death.
Interesting.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, was it, again? It goes to the same thing that I was saying about the other girl. Was my bro waiting for this moment to get with this person?
I say no, and I have two reasons. One, it used to be custom in America to do that. If your brother was married and he died, his wife didn't have the right to own property, didn't have any means of income, didn't have anything. So it was your obligation to marry her and make her an honest woman and keep his household alive by basically and that's brothers. That's even stronger than Brocode. That's like
that is a brother
that's
code.
Brocode squared. Yeah, that's intense. But the second reason I would think is that like grief often brings people together, where it's like if she's his, she, obviously his closest friend, his partner in life, and you're his best friend, you're the two most stricken people in the world with this bro-shaped hole that you both have that fits perfectly together when you put each other together, when you're like, it
was because I was thinking, when he told me this question, I just thought about it for days. Well, obviously he told me yesterday. He told me yesterday, and I'm streaming Mario Maker. I'm like thinking about the answer. I'm like, man. So if I were to die, it's like. So for me, I wanted this person. I want this person.
Dead person.
I want this person to be happy.
Yeah.
Like my significant other. I want my significant other to be happy. Whether that whoever's arms that's in, okay, as long as she moved on, she's happy, whatever. But then at the same time, I'm like, yo, Dave, you moving in on my girl like that? I am like. I am right here in the ground. I am haunting your ass.
Still warm.
Yeah, I am haunting your ass.
That's funny.
Because you were planning this whole thing the whole time.
Did you poison my drink?
Yeah. So Red Lionhead says, my mentality is that death is final and all bets are off.
Yeah, he's right. All contracts are null and void if you die. I think about it also from the perspective of, it's hard for me to put myself in the shoes of the dead person, but like for instance, after my dad passed, my mom like started dating. Oh, we can hear the camera when it overheats, so bear with us. But she started dating, and honestly, my reaction was like, "Go for it, mom! Like you go, girl." Because I think that for someone you care about, the most tragic outcome is for them to just be totally unable to go on with their life. You know what I mean? Totally unable to be close to someone again and afraid to open up. That just sounds so awful the more I explain it and talk about it. It's like I don't want them to just die a spinster with 50 cats just because I ate one too many Krispy Kreme donuts and had a heart attack. I don't eat donuts, by the way, but we're obviously talking about me and not Robbie when it comes
just
to
a whole
donuts.
Pizza. But anyway,
hey, we're two people involved. But
but I mean, again, I'm thinking two things. Like, again, I want this person to be happy, but at the same time, I'm thinking, was this person planning it out the whole time?
I'm sure that there's intimate relationships that form, and then they're like, listen, I can't endorse this relationship or water it or let it grow because I'm taken. But the second you're not taken, you're like, hey, remember that thing that me and you had like 5 years ago?
Maybe here's a story that I read about. Kind of relates to this Brocode thing. There was a man, I think it was a Vietnam War veteran. He was like a POW. So the story was that
this is going deep, isn't it?
He was out in Vietnam. One of his buddies was injured, and he was trying to make a tourniquet. So he took off his jacket, wrapped up his legs, made it like a tourniquet, and was like dragging him out. Apparently, something happened. They got shot. His buddy was left behind, dead.
The one with the bad leg.
Right, the one with the bad leg. He got captured, kept in a not concentration camp. Wow, I apologize.
Found the jacket on the dead body.
He was kept in a POW camp. Exactly. So that they had no other way to identify this person, I guess, other than the jacket. The jacket had his name. And also in the jacket were letters to go out to his wife. Oh
shit! So she got the final goodbye and everything.
So she got the letter. She got the letter. She got the message. Hey, this is what we found. Yada yada yada.
So brutal.
He was in the POW camp for years. She moved on. She got remarried.
Everything getting him through every single day.
He got out.
Getting back to her.
Finally, he got out when they said, the war is over. Yada yada yada. We're taking the POWs. He goes to the house, sees that she's married,
He doesn't even have a social security number anymore. He's a ghost.
Right. She is remarried and everything. And it's just like, hey, his response was, she's happy.
Was it his friend?
She thought no. I don't think it was his. I don't think it was his friend. It was just she moved on. She moved on. Okay, and it was just like, hey, you know what? She thought I was dead for many years. Yeah. I can't do anything about it.
Oh, it's so brutal.
But in the same situation, what if you come home and again, it's me?
Yeah.
Would the bro code apply to that?
I think there needs to be, if bro code was defined on a set of people.
Yeah, well, exactly. Pretty much, it was like a Castaway story. Yes, exactly.
Well, I've shared it in books too, but what's the grieving period for like getting over the death of a loved one? Because you don't want to put that weight on a new relationship too. So
well, for me,
2 years.
For me, fuck it, 2 minutes, I'm good. just throw me in the as soon as the first dirt hits my body. Yeah, fuck it, move on.
I've heard that a lot of like therapists and type, they'll say if you were in a relationship for 5 years, the grieving period is 5 years, and that seems kind of long to me because I've always been kind of very
100% of the time
back.
So it's 100% of the time.
That's what they. I mean, that's a number I've heard. I don't know what it's not. It's anecdotal. It's not based on a study or anything. But for me, it's like 1 or 2 years, maybe 3. You tend to get over. There's things that I've been carrying with me for 15 years, but in general,
right,
1 to 3 years should be fine. So if they've hit that buffer and it was like, hey man, I hit the 3 years, and then you're like, you're right, he hit 3 years. You know what I mean? It's
and what you knock on the door. I'm like, yeah, hey Dave. Oh, hey Robbie.
But what about her? It's like, yo, you didn't even grieve. You weren't even sad. Like you just inherited all my stuff legally, and then
but that's like
moved on.
Do we just say, do you want to grab a beer? Like, is that what we do? We just say we grab a beer and we move on.
I think that's. I mean, I think people are having a beer either way. Yeah. Right. The question is whether they break the bottle over each other's head.
Exactly, and everybody agrees. Makokeo, Red Lion Head, and Fletch. Grief is different for everybody.
Subjective, yeah.
Exactly. It goes into how much emotions. I could be in a short relationship, and a lot of emotions there, and it could be me grieving longer, or and also or like my past relationship. It's just when the door closes. All right, Tinder. No,
like let's say that you do get an afterlife, and from that afterlife, you can see the person. Her hooking up.
I'm
with your best
haunting
friend,
your ass.
I think her hooking up with your best friend, let's say 1 year. Her hooking up with your best friend 1 year later is actually kind of low on the list of bad outcomes, right? Like, number one, she could swallow a bullet the same day she gets the letter. You know what I mean? That's not something you want on your head or on your tombstone.
But then she'll be with me in the afterlife.
Will she, though? No, she committed suicide, so she's going to hell.
That's true.
Sorry. But, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. But... yeah, it's such a touchy. It's touchy enough being alive without throwing in dead people. Like we. Oh man, my yellow card infraction.
Okay. So yeah, I said a green. I pretty much said a red. So now we're going to go to your.
I think we're kind of opposite. I think
you're red.
Yeah, I mean on the death story, we were kind of. You were like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, fucking yeah, do it. I don't care.
But then I'll be dead. So fuck it. You want to move in on my girl? Do it.
Interesting. I didn't. It's funny when when you think that everybody thinks the same way, and then you find out that there's so many different spectrums, right?
Right.
It's like wiping your ass. It's like, yeah, everybody wipes their ass the same way I wipe my ass. Like, you do what?
Yeah.
You go from back to front? What?
With a towel, right?
You don't stand up? You tilt? What?
Yeah, I use a towel.
I was trying to come up with the most messed up thing I could think of. Like, I use a Cabbage Patch doll or something, but I just couldn't think fast enough. I had to explain to give me time to think of something funny to say. Anyways, so my yellow card violation, right?
Yeah, let's hear the yellow card violation.
So my bestest bro in the whole world, anybody who knows me knows this is.
Me.
So if I'm selling him out, I might as well say his name. But no, my best bro, he was on again, off again with this girl. And I don't really know what their level was, but I knew that she was stringing him along for a long time, and I might exaggerate, but I want to say it was like a year, maybe even 2 years. So,
oh yes.
So yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't know what
the girl that is.
I don't know what their complication was. I don't know what level their relationship was.
Yep.
But I knew he was miserable. Yep. So let's keep all those things back in mind, right? So I was at a party, and she flirted with me, and it wasn't like a casual flirt. It was like, I don't even remember. I wish I could explain it to you. It was years ago, but it was a pretty serious flirt. And I always thought she was kind of cute. So
yes,
my
Adam,
reaction
that bitch. I know who you're talking
My reaction
about.
was to flirt back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, my buddy is beating himself up, moping around the house for months over this girl.
Yep.
And she's out. I know specifically flirting with me. Now I know that there's probably other people, but that's neither here nor there. She's obviously not as interested and not as committed to this thing, whatever this thing might be, as he is. So my immediate reaction was to tell him. I was like, hey, this just happened. You're wasting your time here.
Okay.
And of course, this exploded their entire whatever they had. Whatever this sinking ship that was up and down and on and off was. Just I dynamited it.
But that's a yellow card.
I mean, I think it would have been a yellow, but by telling him I brought it down to a green.
No, yeah, exactly. That's not a yellow card.
Well,
that's no violation at all. You were doing your you're doing your due diligence.
I did flirt back. I will confess I did flirt back.
But still, you're doing your due diligence because again, you're just like, let me see how far I could take this without crossing the line.
She might have been more angry at me than anyone that I can think of has been angry at me my whole life. Unfriended me on everything.
Right.
Ignored me at social gatherings, which there were still plenty more of for quite a long time. Yep. Dead silent. She would come to the door to see him, and I would open the door and greet her.
She would go straight to the
No, dead. It's like when you're at working retail and you're like, "Hey, sir, how you doing today?" And they're like, and you're like, I guess I'll just fuck off and die then. Yeah, that's what I got.
But fuck me, right?
And we weren't close friends, so I don't have any obligation to her in this situation.
Right, no.
And I can see how she would think that I was a hypocrite because I flirted too, but then I reported it to him. But I had to.
No, I think that is your duty as a bro to be like, I see her flirting with all these guys.
The more we talk about it, the better I feel about it.
She knows that I know she's with this, that she's talking to him.
That is interesting.
I would do that too.
He was pining for her for
yes,
months.
He was. I know who you're talking about and everything because I remember.
We got a lot of good music out of his misery.
Yeah, I remember her being over at the band house playing Fallout.
I don't remember that. Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good work.
But no, I say that was your duty as a bro, to do that. I feel good now. I would probably do the same thing if I saw. I'm trying to think if I had a situation like that. I don't think
I could have pursued.
Yeah,
I really
don't think I have, but I would have seen. I wouldn't have gone as far as make out with her or something like that. But I would definitely be like right at the edge and be like, "Gotcha, bitch."
Well, I didn't do it with that intention. I was just kind of like. Drinking and having a good time.
Right.
I wasn't laying a trap or trying to set my buddy free. It just happened that way.
So I guess a violation against me. It's Wait.
I want to put one cherry on top of this before you move on to your story. So you make me feel really vindicated because I made it not my business what their relationship was. I made it not my business what their on and off was.
Yeah.
I respected their relationship, and I knew I had to destroy it.
Yeah.
So I thank you for this endorsement of Brocode upholding. I'm gold. I got a gold star, bro.
Yeah, you got my approval. No, it's so I would say I knew that this person was with. Somebody else that we knew, my really good friend, obviously. We
all know who my good friend is.
My really good friend at the time, and I knew that he was with one person, and I was with her friend, and I was like, man, kind of want her. I kind of flirted with her a little bit, but nothing ever happened. So
there is like a casual,
I would say that's like a slap on the hand for me. Don't do that again.
On a scale of 1 to 10, a level 1 flirt is almost kind of accepted at all times because you can flirt at work, you can flirt, in public. It's part of conversation,
right?
And some people enjoy that, like dancing close to the fire, they call it, where it's like we're flirting, but then if you were like, so hey, what are you doing tonight? They'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like we were just flirting, like it's just conversation,
right?
So that part's okay.
So but other than that, I don't think like anything that's like moderately like on the red side for me.
I thought you might at least know of some like really just awful, destructive Brocode violations. Like let me give an example. This isn't necessarily Brocode, but it might open up some stories and give some people some ideas.
Yeah.
So I worked with this guy for like 2 years, and he got caught stealing. And I'm not talking little stealing. I'm talking like grand theft stealing. And he was in the military, and the boss like kind of felt bad for his situation, so he fired him without like pressing the legal aspect of it and getting him a dishonorable discharge and all that other shit. Yeah. And then 5 years later, I'm on the other side of town in a completely different job, and I see somebody has hired this guy in the same position in an auto shop. And so is my bro code to tell the manager, you know what I mean? Think of it in a relationship terms. Yeah. Is my bro code to tell the manager, hey, you just hired this dude?
I would.
And at the last job I was at, he got fired from
I did theft. That. I've done that. You're talking about Dave's beard or my beard? Because
I'm scruffy as hell today.
I like his beard too.
Really? Oh, I'm really scruffy right now.
Well, so he wasn't really much a bro of mine, but I was at a job. I was his supervisor. Mm-hmm. I was the one who fired him.
Gotcha.
Because of some shit that he did. Then I left that job and I went to the next job. Mm-hmm. He was there at that same job. I didn't know he was working there. However, he was in the same department as me.
Gotcha.
He was working a different shift than myself. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. It's not going to bother me. He got fired from this job. Mm-hmm. Then when I went to go look for a new job.
For the same thing or for something else?
No, for something else. So usually, since I work in the IT field.
So there's tons of red flags with this guy.
Well, exactly. So when I was working in the IT field, being in the IT field, there's a lot of headhunters, a lot of people, recruiters that want to do it. So one recruiter called me and was like, hey, you know what? Can you come in? We want to talk to you, try to get you involved in a few companies that we're working with. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I did like a kind of like a interview with them, and then as I'm leaving and I'm in my car, I see him walk in to go to the same place, and I emailed them like, listen, I don't want to get involved in any drama, anything like that, but this is the story with this guy. Mm-hmm. He's been fired from the last 2 jobs. I actually had to fire him from one of the jobs, blah blah blah. And they said that he saw my name on the sign-in sheet and was pretty much like, oh, so I saw you guys already talked to Robbie, and was like, I guess that he kind of like admitted some stuff. So
wow,
so because he knew
that bad, huh? Well, I thought you were telling me that he saw your name and knew that you would get the job and then left. I thought.
Oh no. He knew that I was going to share with them.
You were obligated. Professionally obligated.
I mean, it could have been the competitive side in me. It was like, I'm not going to lose this. To something. But no. But
fuck this guy. I'm blowing up his spot. I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Yeah, it was just that he got fired from one job because he was just a shitty technician, and then he got fired from the job that I fired him from because of
behavioral.
Yeah, it was behavioral stuff, and it was just like he's not a right person for a job. So yeah. So would that be a violation against the bro code because I was warning them because I didn't?
Well, the reason I'm bringing up these work stories is because I'm hoping that they might jumpstart yours or theirs stories of their run-ins with the bro code. But no, we can go here too. Like this is a good lane. Like I think that it depends on what the job is. If it's like
because obviously the bro code doesn't just it isn't just
it's an
limited to relationships and girls and stuff like that. It's an honor code, even though that is like a big chunk of it. But yeah, there's more. Exactly, it's more of an honor code.
And it also depends on his level of infraction. Like if you got fired for like being tardy many times, you're not obligated to be like, hey, this guy's tardy, because that just looks petty too. Right. It's not a big deal. But if he did something that was like, sexual harassment lawsuit that cost the company millions of dollars, then you're obligated to be like, hey, this guy's a freaking liability. You don't want to hire him.
So Fletch is right. He wasn't my bro. Correct. I even though I knew him for multiple years through
I thought you were talking about the manager. Your bro code with the manager.
No.
I think you upheld that for sure. Yeah.
No. I mean, I just.
There's a stranger bro code too, like right. There's like a level 0.5.
I'm not sure.
Like if you see somebody about to just like make a terrible decision, and you never talked to this person before in your life, it's kind of like, hey man, don't eat the clams. You know what I mean? It's like that's like a low, very very casual bro code, but.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Fletch covers me exactly. I didn't think it was a violation to anything just because, like you said, he wasn't my bro. Even though I knew him, it's just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let me see what you think about this story then. So
you're an awful person. Oh, we haven't even started. Okay.
I was a low level manager, and there was an employee that there was suspicion that they were coming to work drunk, but there wasn't like certainty.
Okay.
And this same employee came in. Out of their mind drunk. Eyes can't, they do the pen test. I'm talking can't even talk to you, like eyes swimming in their head, slurring their words, like, you know, border of death, alcoholic. And my reaction was like, listen, I'm going to send you home. This is your last warning. You know what I mean? And then I've ended up casually finding out where they were drinking, how often they were drinking, just by going to the bar and having them be like, oh, you work there. You know, your person comes in every single day on lunch break and gets trashed out of their mind on tequila. And I was like, whoa. And this was like, you know what I mean? This happened after. So it showed me how serious the problem that I was giving her a break, basically. I was like, listen, you know, nothing's going to fall apart if you go home right now. You know, I'm not high enough level to fire you, and I want to give you a chance. And I gave them a chance, and they eventually got fired. And then like 6 months or a year later, I get this phone call out of the blue that's like, I'm in rehab right now. I'm supposed to apologize to everyone that I, you know, whatever. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, wronged in the past. Yeah. The 12 step. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for giving me a chance. And so, like, was I doing her a disservice by not dropping the hammer on her then and starting her down to rock bottom so she can climb back up? Or was I doing the company a disservice by, you know, keeping this? And let me preface too: no infraction had happened, no safety. You know, she hadn't done anything yet. She had just been drunk. Right? Yeah, exactly. She had just been drunk, and it was not a high level, you know, government research facility or anything. It was a very low level retail job. So there was no stakes. You know, no craziness.
There were a whole bunch of people that like I had worked with that they would go into their car, smoke, and then come back in and be stoned out of their ass. And, you know, they were pretty functional. Yeah, there were a couple that,
this
you know.
Was not, this time was not
functional. Yeah, there were a couple that they were just way too stoned, and those people ended up getting fired. I was in no position to fire these people. And sure, I could have been like, ooh, you know, so
pass this up the line.
Yeah, you know, so and so stoned right now, but you know, I'm
at a low stakes job. It almost doesn't seem worth it, right?
For me, it was like,
because stoners got to work too.
For them, it was, as long as it doesn't affect me.
Right, exactly.
It was okay. You know, it didn't really affect. It didn't affect me. It didn't really affect the company because, you know, it was a customer service. We answered phone calls. You know, it went in. Right. It was nothing like too bad. But if somebody comes in drunk and is irate or something like that, I'll be like, yo, they're drunk as hell. They're drunk as a skunk. Get them out of here.
This one wasn't that kind of drunk, but I always feel like people who come in like obviously intoxicated, where they smell like weed, where they smell like beer, where they just want to get fired. I think a lot, especially like kids, you know, late teens, early 20s, some stupid pizza delivery job or something, like they don't care. Right. If they get fired, they'll just get some other crappy job.
So Fletch says that he hereby finds you guilty on all counts in that case.
Me, not Robbie, just me.
Oh, I'm sure he's typing out his response for me, but he finds you guilty.
That's fair.
So your punishment is heavy drinking of peach reds. There's still 2 in the fridge.
Yes, I'll go get one now. Well, let me take a.
We'll take a break. You get your drink.
I feel good. I feel like such a weight off my chest. Like I just, you know, you try to make the best decision that you can at any given moment.
That's not just in Norway. So Red Lion Head says affecting coworkers of the workplace environment that should be reported. Being drunk at work is one of the very few things that will get you fired on the spot in Norway, and it is that will get you fired on the spot here in America as well. I know I've had there were 2 employees that. It was the overnight manager or the overnight supervisor and his friend that they would go to the bar that was right around the corner from the data center. And they would be gone for about 2 hours, 3 hours, and then come back, fall asleep because they were too drunk, wake up.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Wake up and then leave. I feel like they got fired once. Like they had
once
to.
It was provable.
Exactly. They had recorded all the login, all the sign in, the badge in, badge out to the data center. They had the videotape showing them leaving and then the time that they were returning and all that. And finally, the manager, the person that ran the data center, he showed up in the middle of the night, and of course they were drunk as a skunk. And
holy crap!
One of them ended up like begging for his job, begging for his job. No, both of them got fired and got, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I've never seen someone beg for their job before. Like.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I messed up, blah, blah, blah. Nope.
I've been fired for dumb shit. Not that dumb, but I always give them the like, well, it was a pleasure working with you. You know what I mean?
Dave gets pretty drunk pretty quick if that's one.
Yeah, I'm super lightweight.
If you're wondering about how drunk skunks get,
2 beers and I'm feeling
that's
good.
Skunk Dave.
I'm a very efficient, drinker. I don't drink often enough to build a tolerance. So every time I drink is a good time, even if I'm just like. Chilling.
Well, I think that will be one of the episodes we need to get a skunk and get a drunk. See how quick.
Well, hopefully.
No.
I mean, alcohol's not a big part of my life right now, but I might pull like a first we feast kind of thing where like I'm eating hot wings so much at work that it becomes part of my life. So like maybe once we do some alcohol related videos, it might be a bigger part of my life. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? So I feel like
excuse me, sorry.
I feel like weed is almost just people turn a blind eye to it because. First of all, it's way harder to prove. It's just a little bit of a hint of a smell, and if they didn't get it on their clothes or on their hair, you're not gonna be with someone at work and be like, you're stoned. You know what I mean? Also, it's there's kind of like a I would say a social taboo to accusing someone because you're basically accusing them of breaking the law in some places, which businesses don't feel comfortable with doing.
Right.
I don't think,
and
unless they can prove it.
So I had one at my previous job. I had a coworker that he worked in a different department. Mm-hmm. And he was pretty much stoned 24/7, and it was
to the point where you couldn't tell, and then you just thought that was his normal.
No, I knew he was stoned, and every day he was stoned, and I would ask him like, "Oh, hey, I need you to do this," and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'll get right on that." 3 days later,
so his quality of work wasn't there either.
How's this coming along? Wait, what? You asked me to build something, but nobody would do anything about it because I don't know if people were. Trying to protect him or what, but it
depends on the industry too, because in food service and like hospitality, being stoned is just kind of like assumed.
Yeah, but
everyone's high.
I mean, yes, okay, it is kind of a norm in the IT world, at least again.
Really interesting.
I'm not saying like everywhere. I don't know how it is because I know Red Lion Head. He's kind of in the network telco networking. It's like IT world. I'm not sure how it is in Norway. Obviously, their laws are completely different than our laws, but there are a lot, and I talk about a lot of people in the IT world that do.
Interesting. Judging from what I've seen of our local high-end tech school that I will not name, I can say that I can probably see why that would be.
And it's just either a stress relief because especially my job, there's I'm on call. Yeah. I'm on call. Different releases, different stuff like that. It's a very stressful. Coding is very stressful.
If someone's a casual drug user and they're always on call, then they're always high on the job. You know what I mean? It's like, where do they draw the line? Coming to work. I feel like a lot of people at the very least would keep it out of work. They'd be like, I'm on the clock. I need to be productive.
Right. Exactly. What you do. You could do it to stress as a stress relief. You could do it as whatever. So cool. Do it like that. But
I've also known a lot of people who should be prescribed something and don't want to be, so they smoke weed instead. It's like they should be taking antidepressants, they should be taking anti-anxiety, but either they don't trust pharma or they don't have insurance or they just like smoking weed, so they're kind of self-medicating. So at that point, it's kind of like, how mad can I really be? And I think there's something inherently reckless about alcohol too. Like when I think weed, I don't think reckless. I think maybe less productive, maybe less reliable, depressed.
I mean, have you seen someone
have
high?
You seen the PSA of the guys running over the girl in the drive-thru?
No, I'm just saying they're destructive on those Doritos.
Oh yeah,
bruh.
Who left the break room a mess? Can you imagine getting fired for wrecking the break room? What a stupid thing to be fired for.
You ate everybody's lunch. You're fired.
Have you ever had your lunch straight up just eaten?
No.
Oh my God. I had my lunch just straight up eaten, and it was weird because I ordered something I would never order. It was some weird Mediterranean sub that I just wanted to try, and it turned out being terrible. So the guy who stole my lunch and ate it actually complained about the quality of it. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's your food.
I don't even remember.
That was a violation of the Brocode.
Yeah, actually, I've had the Brocode violated against me, I think, numerous times. Yeah. That's a violation of the Brocode because me and him were cool. I worked with another guy who was like, "Hey man, could you just lend me $60 until our next paycheck?" And $60 wasn't a big deal for me at the time, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, get it back to me whenever." And then he moved away before the next pay cycle. I'm like, "What the fuck, man? I just paid for your moving truck, and you knew you were doing this."
Yeah, my parents have told me 3 things.
Don't lend money.
You never share 3 things: money, women, or cars. Those are the 3 things you never share.
I'm glad you brought that up. So you mentioned that
I never
your
mentioned
first
anything.
was it phone that you shared with your brother?
Yes.
My first car was shared with my brother, and
I would say with
He
I mean, I'm
blew
not
the
saying
engine.
I'm not saying family share women.
yeah. Oh, okay.
But family, you could definitely share cars. Like if my brother's in town and he's like, oh, I need to get someplace. Cool, here, take my car. Since obviously he doesn't live in town.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like he needs to get around when he's here.
Right,
And at the time, do you still have the motorcycle?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so it's like you have something else. It's like
Yeah. Well, even if I didn't have my motorcycle, if he was just like, oh, I need to go over here. Yeah, cool, go ahead.
Yeah.
If I had no obligation that I needed to go somewhere, or if I'm like, well,
the age of Uber.
That's
I think
true.
before the age of Uber, it was like a bigger deal.
Yeah, if it was, oh, hey, I'll drive with me, drop me off at work. You can take my car, just come pick me up back at 4 p.m. Something like that. I would lend it to my brother.
Yeah.
But
my brother is super, super reliable for bro favors. He's driven me to the airport so many times. He's like come through huge for me when I have something heavy to move or anything.
Yeah.
So like for him blowing the engine on a car that was worth like $900, I don't really care.
that I love you and all, but if you say, hey, I need to borrow your car,
I don't feel comfortable driving like a nice car. I've driven friends home when they were drunk and they have like a brand new car. What's really weird for me is like you can feel the throttle in a old car, like a throttle by wire car. Like you can feel the resistance when you push your pedal and you know what to expect. In like a brand new car where everything is like clean and efficient, you just kind of touch the gas pedal and like, go.
Do you remember?
No, I don't feel comfortable.
Do you remember yours and my Focus?
Yeah.
So I had a
stick shift with a beat up transmission.
Yeah, I had a stick shift with a good transmission and a short short ram intake. And you went to go parallel park it, and you're like, "Holy crap!"
I don't remember that.
You don't remember? I do.
I have the worst.
It was
memory.
At the show at the Tapas place.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. You I think that you asked to drive or something like that, and I was
That was
like,
a nice car. Why'd you get rid of it? I loved it.
I got a Fiesta.
Oh yeah.
No, but anyways, yeah.
I mean,
so
when I say nice, I mean like. I love it. You know what I mean? Some cars have personality and you love it in the same way you love a pug, even though it's not like, the best car.
Yeah.
So like when I say like Mike's Scion, right?
Yeah.
Like I love that
Oh
car.
my God.
So it's so
Mike
people
treated
hate-
that thing like shit.
Yeah, I know people hate them, but I'm like, I would drive that car. I would literally make a food truck out of that car.
I drove my ex's Scion every once in a while because she needed me to like drive it because she couldn't. We would always pick up furniture and she wouldn't be
The XP,
comfortable.
the box one.
What?
She had the XB, the box.
Yeah, and she wouldn't be comfortable driving the vehicle with that big of a cargo.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah. So
you know what car I have an unreasonable affection for is the Volkswagen Hippie Bus. Just today, I saw somebody driving one that was like cherry showroom good, and I gave him a thumb up at the red light, and he did a double take like "fuck you too."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Whoa! I wasn't flicking you off. I was giving you a thumbs up. Like I like your car."
I think that he used to be my neighbor because there's like one guy that has
Is
like
it green and white?
a very pristine one. And
Is it green and white?
I think
With
so. I
with
can't remember.
This one was
But-
like I've always loved that car ever since I was little.
To fill you in on the chat. So yeah, Red Lion Head said never lend more money than you can afford to lose, and it's like
and then $60. I always think of it in the terms of like how many lunches is this? You know what I mean? Like I bought a buddy that I play online with an $8 game the other day, and he was like, "No, please don't get me. No, I can't. Just don't." I'm like, dude. It's the same as if we were out and I bought you a burger. You know what I mean? It's not a huge deal. And then he's like, well, when you explain it that way, yeah.
Yeah, and then and Red Lion Head, and then obviously Fletch response to that, like it's like gambling, which is yes, you're taking a gamble.
I do not gamble.
Will this person pay me back?
I mean,
you're taking that risk. Will they pay you back?
For me, it wasn't the fact that I lost the money. It's that he led me into the agreement with the impression that there was a chance of paying it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he would have been like, look, I'm really desperate. Can you give me $60? I'm moving away. I probably still would have been like, yeah. Because he was a nice guy. I'd worked with him for a while and we got along well. So I'd be like, fucking good luck with your life. You know what I mean? Here's $60.
You're right.
320s. Who cares?
Yeah, and Makoa Ko agrees with you. He thinks of it in terms of food. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and what you said, Red Lion Head, is very true. Manual gearboxes. There's a story about somewhere not too far from where we're at here in Florida. Somebody hijacked a car, was running from the cops, and he went to go steal another car to try to get away, but it was a manual transmission. and he couldn't get it moving. So the cops caught up with him because it was a manual transmission.
I have 2 stories that relate to that.
Same here. I've never owned an automatic car. Well, no, I lied. That Chevy Astro van was the automatic. Other than that, everything's always been manual.
So the manual that I had, the Focus, I bought that car not knowing how to drive stick to force myself to learn to drive stick. Because it's like, if you want to go to work, you're going to learn how to drive this car.
Yeah.
And there's depending on how good your transmission is, there's a point that you're really only going to overcome with skill, which is stop and go traffic on an incline.
Yep.
Because when you come back out of neutral, you're going to roll backwards.
Yeah, you got to know that catch point to where it catches, and then you
have to give it enough gas. And if you stall out, you're going to roll backwards even further than you intended.
Yep.
So on and so on. So there was a situation where I was in stop and go traffic at the parks, and the person behind me was so close that I knew without a doubt, and I was so new to it. I had the car less than a month, and I was like, I knew without a doubt that if I tried to go, I would back into them. And I was like, I'm just going to put my parking brake on and turn my emergency light on, and you're just going to deal with it and go around me or whatever you have to do, because I'm not. It's like, hey, you can honk at me all you want, but do you really want me to hit your car? No. So that's story number 1. Story number 2 is my brother had a suspended license, and we wanted Sonic, which was about 2 blocks away. Sonic, big bucks. And he drove us to the car, and lo and behold, we get pulled over on the way back. Yeah. And the cops ask him who he is, and he says he's me. He's trying to play the false identity because he doesn't want to get caught on driving without a license. But I was too young to be licensed at the time, and he didn't consider that. So I told the cops, look, my brother's an idiot. I'm the person he's telling you he is, but he can't pretend to be me because I don't have a license either. Please go easy on us. We just went 2 blocks to get Sonic. And one thing you learn about me is I almost never, ever get let go with a warning. Ever. They just, whatever it is.
You go straight to jail. No, do not pass go.
I've tried big stories. I've tried little stories. I've tried no stories. I've tried, how is your day? How are you doing today? How is your day? I never get let go with a warning.
Have you tried howdy?
I've been pulled over on dates. I've been given a ticket while getting pizza with a date. I've just... Terrible. I've been pulled over for nothing. At good parts of town, bad parts of town, doing absolutely nothing. Doesn't matter. I've been pulled over every single way you can imagine. Yeah. And I've had guns pulled on me. I've had multiple cars pull up on me in a circle with guns drawn. I've just, whatever. At least they didn't shoot me. Yeah. If you can consider that being, but I wasn't doing anything.
Right.
So if I was doing something, I've never been let out off without a warning. Anyways, so what the cops do is they take him to jail, and they go, hey, could you drive the car home if you're only 1 block away from your house?
You?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I was like, wait a minute, guys. You're telling me to do the thing that you're taking him to jail for because I'm not licensed either. Yeah. So, what? Can we just let this go? You just literally told me to drive the car home. Why couldn't you let him drive the car home? So, I guess because he told them a bunch of bullshit. And my brother has,
lied to the cops.
My brother has this, a lot of people have this kind of tact where they know how to approach a situation. And he's the one who, chooses the wrong path and then doubles down on that path, even though it looks unlikely and unsuccessful. He's like, no, I'm down this path. I'm sticking with this path. I'm just going to keep talking and talk myself into a corner. Yeah. And then I'm going to do a backflip with the same story. And I just got to tell him that's not going to work this time. But anyways, so I had never driven the car. It was a stick shift, and I got in and did the shun and bump, and that's what it made me think of. This guy that totally would have been me until I forced myself to learn.
Oh, that's kind of well, the way that I learned was so. Let me preface this: my mom never drove stick shift until she met my dad. Mm-hmm. They were living in Hawaii. And the way that my mom makes it sound like that she had to drive around the entire island of Oahu.
Well, I hear the roads in Hawaii are pretty scary.
I drove through Hawaii, and I saw where, like I said, she made it sound like my dad dropped her off at this mall,
right?
And she had to drive around the entire island of Oahu. But it was seriously, like you said, 2 blocks, because we saw the mall, and then we saw where my parents lived the last time we went there, and I was like, this is it? You made it sound like it was a huge thing, because he dropped her off, showed her how to go forward, how to go back, and then he ran to their apartment.
My initial reaction is to criticize your mom and to criticize different generations of people who don't drive or people who just don't like to drive. Right. But I actually relate to her in some respect because I have a really bad habit when I'm not the driver, when I'm the passenger. It's basically I get into your car, I zone out for however long it takes for us to get to our going.
Yeah, but you have a short attention span.
And then, yeah, I do. And then when we get out of the car, I check back in. So it's almost like a teleporter, but a lot slower. It's like a 1 hour teleporter. Like, oh, here we are.
But yeah, so pretty much the same situation happened to me when I learned how to drive stick shift. My dad drove us, I think, like 10 miles out, me and my brother. And it was like, okay, here you go, drive forward, drive back. But this time he was too far to go running from wherever we were.
Oh, I see what you're saying, to drive the car back.
So he was like, all right, drive home. And man, was that scary. Yeah. And I honestly didn't drive stick shift because I couldn't get a hold of it. The first time the first time that he tried to teach us, it wasn't until afterwards that he was a little bit closer, and then I finally drove from point A to point B.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was just like, you know, that I think that's one way to find it is, you know, to figure it out.
Throw them in the water and just
exactly, which is honestly how I've gotten through with a whole bunch of stuff in my life is, you know, learning stuff is sink or swim. So
let me ask you a question. What's the worst sink or swim your dad ever gave you?
The worst sink or swim he ever gave me?
Was that it? Driving? Because driving's, you know, it can be dangerous.
I mean, not really sink or swim, but probably my first Kyokushin fight.
Yeah.
Because he trained me in, you know, different different techniques and all this stuff. So, but you know, it's a whole nother world when you're bare knuckle face to face with a guy who is second degree black belt and I'm only a blue belt.
So what's the phrase that's like no plan survives engagement with the enemy or something like that? It's like there's no preparing you other than just doing it. There's no experience other than doing it.
So my first competition was my first martial arts competition to answer Red Lionhead's question. I had a jiu-jitsu tournament January. I can't remember what year it was. But then my very first Kyokushin fight was last year in October. And it was just, like I said, I was a blue belt. He was a second degree black belt. And we just stood there. And right when he said fight, it was just like, oh, crap. And then I got that first punch. And again, like I said, it wasn't a sink or swim.
To you or from you?
To me.
To you, okay.
Which again, it isn't a sink or swim situation. Because he punched me square in the chest. And I looked at him like,
ow.
Oh, this is it? My dad punches me hard, which sounds awful.
Well,
but anyways, my dad punched me hard, and then we just went.
I think a punch to the chest is not that bad. If you've ever been like squarely punched in the nose, you know how bad.
I've been kicked. I've been kicked in the head so many times.
I meant you in like the general sense.
Yeah.
Like if a person.
Oh, okay.
You've never, you know, if you've been in a couple kind of like tussles and wrestling matches, and then you get first square shotted in the nose, and your whole vision goes white.
Oh, geez.
And you're just like deafened with pain, and you know that you couldn't actually fight.
Yeah, I missed this, but Makoa Keo, he said that he bought a Mustang and a Popka and had to drive it to his house by where, you know, by UCF, and
that's how I bought this car too. Yeah,
and
I had to drive home.
From a Popka to UCF, and he had to drive down I-4. Oof.
I don't like. First of all, that's one of the worst stretches of I-4. Second of all, I don't like driving on I-4. Period. If I can avoid it, I've quit jobs so I wouldn't have to take I-4 to drive
I-4 every day. But yeah, and like Ryan said, getting punched in the chest, like bare knuckles, still is pretty tough.
That's where you breathe and where your heart beats. You know, it's still an important area. Your solar plexus.
And yeah, so that was probably like the first sink or swim. But again, it wasn't a true traditional sink or swim because I had trained up to that point. Again, jiu-jitsu, I think that again that wasn't something that my dad put me through. It was something I put myself through. But
so you knew where you were in for.
But the jiu-jitsu professors and stuff like that. It was.
Is that the title? Jiu-jitsu professor?
Yeah, professor. It was kind of like, again, a sink or swim. Yeah, I trained up to that moment, but man, the very first tournament, I can't remember like the first couple minutes of it because it was like, all right, he said, all right, fight.
Just adrenaline, just bam, bam, bam.
It's like they say fight, and usually jiu-jitsu is boom, boom. You slap hands, do knuckles, and then you go. Next thing I remember, I came to, I'm on the floor, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta fight back. So, that was a sink or swim moment because, you know, obviously you could spar, but there's sparring and then there's an actual
striking
combat. Then there's an actual competition.
I just imagined that story that you just told me as like when the bald girl whose name escapes me right this moment hits Doctor Strange in the chest and he has like an experience.
Yeah.
You just come back in your body, you're like, Huh?
Well,
what?
that's exactly what it was. Like I was just so out of it. Like my nerves.
I've never been in a bout, but I've been hit in the temple and knocked out cold before, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
It's just for me it was my nerves got the best of me and I just blacked out, and then all of a sudden I came to. I'm on the ground, with a grown man on top of me trying to fight me, trying to choke me out. I'm like, no, hell no.
Oh, okay. So I'm not familiar enough to know like what kind of ground and pound you could expect, what kind of like scoring.
Well, jiu-jitsu is no ground and pound.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's
my
all
girlfriend
grappling.
was like, yeah, we were in a kung fu match and I kicked him in the hip and I scored a point. That's different.
No, that we don't do. There's no points.
That's what I'm saying.
What I do is no point stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Red Lionhead knows it's Kyokushin, and it's
I'll play the everyman and let you explain to the world how these things work.
The point of Kyokushin and its branches off it is knock the person out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I ask you is because when you told me about your dad putting you in a sink or swim situation, it reminded me of a story that was related to me, and I can't attest how much exaggerated it is. But
it's very exaggerated.
Well, judging by the guy, it could have been a tall tale. Although I'm sure it is at least partially true. So he said to me that his dad, in the middle of the country, drove him miles up into the mountains, left him there with like a pocket knife. I don't even think he gave him a compass, like a pocket knife and canteen, and was like, "Find your way."
So that Leonardo DiCaprio, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, basically, he totally like redneck Daniel Booned him in the middle of nowhere and was like, "Be a man."
Yeah.
That's pretty rough. Like I've jumped into a pool not knowing how to swim, but pretended that I knew how to swim. And it was doubly hilarious because I acted like I knew what I was doing. I did the V, like the diver's V. And I was like, here I go. And I jumped
praise
in.
The sun?
Yeah, exactly. I did praise the sun. I don't even know where I got that. Maybe the Olympics. And then I jumped in and I sunk like a rock. And I had kind of like a life flash before your eyes moment where I'm like sitting at the bottom of the pool, not knowing how to swim and being like, well, this is how I die, I guess. And it was doubly ridiculous because I had chosen to risk dying instead of embarrassing myself by admitting that I didn't know how to swim. That's what makes this story so ridiculous to me.
Too prideful.
Yeah, exactly. No, not even. I just, humiliation is the thing that you never forget. But anyways, so he pulled me out of the pool, and in retrospect, it seems like a good decision because it's a funny story, and I didn't have to humiliate myself. Instead, I got sympathy of onlookers. So great job, self. But I just really distinctly remember it parallels a Bobby's World episode. I don't remember if you remember
Bobby's World. Wow.
Yeah, it was like 5.
I was actually just talking about that last week.
So, and there was a song that he did on Bobby's World that was like, I was at the bottom of the pool. I don't know for how long, but it must have been a while because I had time to write the song. Like that's when you're having like a life flash before your eyes moment. Time to like, it felt like an hour, but really some guy just was like, oh crap, and jumped in and yanked me out by the scruff of my neck in the span of 20 seconds.
Yeah, as a sink or swim mode, that's probably like the most sink or swim mode that
I did that to
had.
myself. My parents were, very permissive. They didn't really like push me in that way. I would love to go harder on my kids and be like, hard work is important.
Yeah.
The things that my parents never taught me that I had to teach myself.
So we've been going for an hour, so let's take a quick break so that way we could get some drinks really quick, and then we could continue on with the conversation. So yeah, we'll just be back in just in a minute or two.
TLDR, okay? Robbie's got to pee.
Well, yeah, that too. All right, and we're back. Dave's trying to get himself
Yeah,
situated
shaking
in the TV. You're trying to get yourself situated in TV. Yes.
I'm ready to Four Loko myself as usual. I have caffeine in one hand, and I don't always have alcohol in the other hand, but when I do, I always have caffeine. I like to be so high on caffeine that I don't know that I'm in trouble until it's too late.
That's a good way to
I don't
to go through life.
Yeah. Do you know in the UK they drink dragon soup?
What is dragon soup?
It's like Four Loko, but it hasn't been banned yet.
Is that true? Red Lionhead, he's in.
Yeah, I saw the cans crushed on the public transportation, so I was like, these dudes know how to party.
What is it called? Dragon soup?
But soup is spelled with 2 O's. SOOP. That just kind of like takes it to another level because it's like trashy level crazy at that point. Especially in the motherland of language, to show such a blatant disregard for language,
so he
or
says,
our language.
He says SUPPE.
Dragon soup. No, I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to look this crazy contraption up.
But yeah, it's pretty wild.
Right. So I don't know. We kind of strayed away there from the Brocode thing, and I'm trying.
I don't have any more violations. Does anybody have any violations?
Trying to think. Yeah.
Violations against me. I have many.
Oh, shit.
So when I was a kid, well, like just getting into like dating and your very first.
So you were 19.
I laugh like a fucking idiot. I laugh like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm gonna run with it though because I always don't care. But so my first kind of girlfriend, maybe 12 or 13, hold hands and kiss and maybe get a nipple every now and then. My buddy, when my house burned down and I had to move away, my buddy like swooped in and took over, and I was like, "All right, thanks, bro."
I mean, I've told people this story. I'm not. I know I've told Kate this story. I think I'm still dating my.
Yeah, if you never got divorced, you're still together.
My 6th grade girlfriend, something like that. It was, and I don't know who has it, but 8th grade. It was 8th grade because it was when we were going to freshman year of high school. She was going to a different high school. I don't know who has it, but I know somebody has the 8th grade yearbook. I need to find this person and find their last name because I need to tell them, hey, I'm sorry, we're no longer together. I've been seeing other people. but yeah, like I've thought about it. Like we started dating towards the end of 8th grade.
What is dating in 8th grade? Honestly,
shake hands.
My buddy was he's one level down from being like a true Brocode buddy, but he was like full on boning in 8th grade. He was a bad kid to be around.
He was the coolest guy.
He was the one. Like
he was the coolest guy.
If I ever tell you a story of like when I was a kid, breaking a law or vandalizing something, he was definitely involved 100% of those.
Yeah, no, but like we. It was one of those. Will you be my girlfriend? Circle yes or no.
Yes, no, maybe.
And then it's like
they circle the or, and you're like, what does that tell me?
Yeah, and it was like
this ain't the WB. You got to tell me.
We started dating at the end of middle school. She gave me her phone number. I lost it, and we never talked ever again.
Good work.
So I'm just like, I'm still dating the same girl since 8th grade, and we never broke up.
It's funny. When my house burned down and I moved away. There was, from Melbourne to Orlando, not that far. There was a girl who I was kind of interested in, but didn't have the guts to tell her. And I ended up running into her at a concert, and she was like, "Oh, I thought you were dead."
Okay,
your buddy told everybody you were dead. I was like, awesome. I mean, I might as well be dead to y'all, but no, I'm still alive.
Yeah, damn.
Small world. Speaking of breakups and not breaking up, what's the worst way you ever broke up with somebody? Like the most.
The worst way that I've broken up with somebody. I mean,
I broke up with somebody over AOL Instant Messenger once.
I've never done something like that. It's always been in person, and I'm just like, sorry, it's just not working out.
Oof. Yeah, mine was.
Or they end up breaking up with me or cheating on me. So it's like,
It's good to remember when like you think you're being really just treated badly by somebody. It's good to remember how hard breaking up with people is. Like, do you not agree? Do you just feel like, nope?
But I'm really trying to think like all my relationships that I've been in.
Ripping off a Band-Aid. See ya.
Exactly. Which is it's always been that way. I've just been like, we can't. No, this is not right.
I think a lot of times you probably might get I felt that way too. You know what I mean?
I've never got that.
You never gotten that?
I've never got one.
Good for you. You must be the man.
I've never. have you not seen me? Come on, you've seen me standing up. No. You've seen me naked.
Actually, I haven't.
No, you haven't.
You know what's funny? A lot of my friend groups, if they were into like football and stuff, they're like, yeah, we all see each other's dicks. I'm like,
nope.
I know. What? Where have I been?
No, yeah, I know. But I think that, it's always been me telling them, like,
Yeah.
like I said, I find out, like, the words that I've been broken up. Well, I guess that I broke up with a person.
It works with either way.
The one that did was, there was my ex that when we met,
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
so yes, you do. You know exactly what I'm talking
Well, I don't
about.
know that I know.
Yeah. So I didn't know about this, but I got called one day from Shauna, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to come over to my work and just hang out, and just talk?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So
Like in a flirty way, or in like a
friend, because she was dating Joey, and I was like, cool. She wasn't my
super cute couple, by the way. Go on.
She wasn't my type, but I was like, okay, she's someone I would hang out with. So I went over there. I went over there, hung out with her, and she was like, yeah. So just so you know, so and so totally just fucked this person, and she's bragging about it. And I was like, cool. So when
she Brocoded you. She supported the Brocode.
Yeah,
for you.
like I said,
That's good work.
Come back around to the Brocode.
That's good work.
She found out about it. She told me about it, and I went to my ex and I said, "We can't do this. You're done." And
please take me back.
Trust me, man. It went downhill because I had already
like the dramatic type. I know.
I had already moved out of that house that I was living in with her because of some other things.
Right.
So I moved out of the house, and when I went over there to go tell her, listen, it's over, she just like argued with me, said that she wasn't going. Like, she didn't want to end. I'm like, sorry, you shouldn't have had another guy's dick in you.
If she was that attached to it, she shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. How do you defend that? Like, yeah, the breakup that I did over AOL Instant Messenger, this girl was like super intelligent and super into me. So, I always like waited, and on all the relationships where I've broken up with them, I've always waited way too long. And then I do this kind of weird apology thing where it's like, well, we can be dating a little bit, and it's so unfair to the person if they have like feelings for you, because they're just like, well, maybe we're gonna get back together, like, and we weren't. But she was so like artsy and intelligent that she was like writing poetry about me hurting her and like posting it publicly, and me reading it and knowing it's about me. Like, I am the biggest piece of shit on the planet. So
Adam just shared a story with us that he broke up with a girl who he was her first boyfriend, and she was super insecure. Asked him, why is he with her? And he said, I don't know, and walked away.
Ooh. You know what's weird?
Man, that is cold, Fletch. Jeez.
I think when I think of bad breakups, I think of ones where you're too cowardly to do it in person. Like, the more farther away you are, the worse it is. It's like phone call, that's bad. Text, that's worse. Yeah. For me, at the time, AOL Instant Messenger, really, really awful. But if you go one step all the way to the end where you don't ever break it off at all, you just don't talk to them again, I'm actually kind of cool with that. Maybe it's like a parabola. Like, it doesn't hurt that bad at the end. Like,
no. If you completely ghost the person when you're in a serious relationship,
I've never been ghosted in a serious. I've been ghosted in like a we make out at parties and then never talk again kind of way. I've been ghosted in like a, but even then it's weird how when you're so young, there's so much going on in your life that you can literally forget that you're hanging out and making out with someone sometimes. Like, I just didn't see the person. I knew her through for a long time, and I didn't think of her for a long time, and I didn't have her phone number. And like you said, we've never broken up. Right. So maybe I still have like 5 girlfriends and I don't know.
I mean, there's a possibility.
Yeah.
But other than that, let me think. I've had a girl that when we broke up and I was seeing somebody else, she showed up at the movie theater and tried to rip out my hair. This is when I had this is when I had like really long hair.
Yeah, it's weird. My brother had that done to him as well.
Yeah, she tried to pull my hair. That was a real bad relationship.
Did you ghost her? Is that why she was so mad at you?
No. We just broke up, and then she found out that found out that I was dating.
She wasn't cool with you moving on.
Oh shit!
So fast.
So I did violate the bro code.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I did violate the bro code because that girl that she caught me with, that's the girl that she saw me with. she had dated one of my friends from high school.
How close were you to him?
In high school, we were close. After high school, not so much.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like in high school.
Yes, Robbie had hair at one point. Yes.
High school relationships are almost like, how mad can you really be? Honestly, I think college they start to get a little more serious when you're a little older. The weird thing is like this girl that he, like Adams, his first girlfriend was like not secure, and he just turned around.
It was her first boyfriend.
Yeah. Like.
He was 18.
Did she really expect it to last forever and end in marriage? You know what I mean? You can't go into every relationship being like, this one's the one. I like them a lot. This one must be the one.
I mean, but when you're young, you think that
naive and idealistic.
That's the thing too. You say you throw I love you around like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And cool. But again, this goes back to my thing about let people enjoy things. Mm-hmm. Let them enjoy it. They want to be happy. They want to be blissful ignorance. And this is my person. This is the person I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. Okay, yes, funny? Sure.
I've recently started equating every bad decision that someone makes that I don't agree with dating someone bad, because it's the same kind of mentality. It's like, we all know this is bad for you, but I can't convince you to not do what you're gonna do. It's like we talked about astrology last week. Is like. I know this is bad for you, but you're gonna do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you'll regret it later. You'll come to me and like, oh, why didn't I listen to you? And I'll be like, yeah, shut up, whatever, you dummy.
Yeah.
You dumb.
But yeah, now I think about it, yes. So I did violate the Brocode because again they had been together for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. In high school terms.
Right, in high school, but yeah, I swooped in on it.
6 months in high school. Wow, 6 months. That's so long. Can't believe it.
No. It wasn't 6 months. It was they were together for.
I love you.
A good couple years.
Yeah. But then they were done, right? So
yeah, they were done, and we kind of had like a falling out. That his group of friends. That's what it was.
Did they fall out with you over the girl? They just
no.
You got excommunicated?
No. So every time I'm in a relationship, it's interesting. The dynamic goes like this because I've said it on a previous episode.
I've gotten someone excommunicated. I don't feel good about it.
No, most of my friends, I don't have a whole lot of friends. Mm-hmm. I have you, and I have like a handful of people that I would call my friends that like I could see,
So in the same way we're talking about being close with your body and close with your feelings, you're that with your friend group. You're like
kind of. Yeah, I have a couple select few. Most of the time that I have like larger friend groups is because of
common interest or something.
No. It's from exes that I become friends with their friends. So anytime a relationship ends, I lose those friends. But there was a very interesting thing that when I had like a large group of friends and I broke up with
you still kept the friends?
No. All my friends just disappeared.
Wow.
All of them would go with her.
Wow.
Like it was just like, all right, fine. So that's what happened there was her and I broke up, and when we broke up, all my friends started hanging out with her and her group of friends. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Screw you guys.
Are we talking about the person who unfriended me on Facebook?
No. Okay. No. This is a high school relationship.
See, I keep romances and friends very separate. Like, I've dated a girl and none of her friends. I'm like, we barely know each other. We're just interested in each other. We we don't have to share our entire life together at this point. I don't, whatever, for better or for worse. But that's why when somebody has a bad relationship, I'm like, whatever happened between y'all is between y'all.
Right.
I don't care if you got hurt. I don't care if you got hurt. If you're my friend and you're my friend, we're both still friends. Yeah. And that's why I've never like I got unfriended for who I hang out with. Is like,
right.
I didn't ask that back from you.
Yeah. And what's interesting, so obviously my ex that we broke up a while ago now, but we dated a while back
on and off.
And when her and I finally broke up, there was a like I Hate Robbie club. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
That like a couple of my exes who had nothing to do with each other kind of came together and we're just like, and they were just like, whatchamacallit, not really talking crap, but it was just like I said, they started like I Hate Robbie club.
Right.
I was like, like I only found out about that when her and I got back together.
But even then, like every girl you've ever dated can come to me and be like, Robbie's such a piece of shit. And I'd be like, it has nothing to do with me. Like, you've always treated me well. We've always gotten along well. Why should I care? Like, it's not like he's choking you and beating you. Like, you know, if I know you're hurt right now, and I'm sorry that you're hurt, but it's not always something that's done intentionally to you. You know, I don't have to pick a side in a battle because things aren't turning out the way that you would have liked. You know what I mean?
Fletch, you didn't get unfriended? You want to get unfriended, bro? Just post a picture of us three hanging out together.
Yeah, Jesus. Like, and you know what? A lot of these, I think also like casual friendships are casually lost, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't have that much in common, you know, I've never hung out with any of your exes on a one-to-one basis. Right. You know, we don't text each other and call each other and be like, we just like each other's posts and be like, oh, you're funny, I like you. You know, we get along when we're around, but are we, you know, friends like that? Yeah. And honestly, when you, in the same way you say you have a small group of friends, my group of female friends is even smaller because
I don't have.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
I don't have female. I've never really had, besides Shauna. I think that she was like my first Shauna and Allison, they were probably like my first like group of girls that were friends, and you know I liked hanging out with them. There was nothing romantic, nothing like that involved in any of it, but it was just like they were good people to hang out with.
Sure. Kim, like she visited and I let her stay in my apartment, and it was like it was totally cool. Like we're friends, but like I only have one really, really close female friend who I have like very intimate heart to hearts with, and we like share everything with each other. And well, again, with a grain of salt now because I'm married, so it's not obviously not as close of a relationship. But yeah, it's the same way though. You every time you like kind of decide to hang out with somebody, you're kind of like watering that plant and maintaining that thing. And the ones that aren't that important to you are the ones that die off. And then at some point, maybe more die off than you intended. It's like, hey, I actually like that guy. I should, you know, maintain contact.
I guess that most of my exes they've had large groups of friends, and they keep communication with those groups of friends. You know, they end up getting invited out, or we end up getting invited out to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I am a homebody.
Yeah.
As what kinds of
we were.
Well, no, I'm not talking about when you know when you were in the band and we were going out all the time. But
I'm just saying because that's when you formed those relationships and made them exes. That's how old you were. So
but like you know my relationships after that were you know again, like you know, I'm trying to think. So after we stopped living together and we stopped like really like hanging out all the time, I probably dated like about 4 people. Let me think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, think about four people, and every single one of them I had, you know, they were long-term relationships, and they were. I always got adopted, I guess, into their group of friends.
There's a certain point where you get a certain amount of close to somebody and become a part of their life where you kind of have to meet their friends. It's almost like meeting their parents. It's like, listen, if we're going to be spending so much time together, there's going to be times when we're both going to have to bring people along because my friend circle overlaps. I always like try to make an effort to include people, and sometimes it blows up in my face because I've ended up at a party with like all 3 of my major exes at the same time, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like obviously I value these people and I want to maintain contact with them, but I'm just like playing with gunpowder and matches. I
have been waiting. I've been anxiously waiting for that moment to just like run into. I mean, I've had some run-ins.
You don't think you're both just gonna like put your head down and walk away though, and rather than have?
Oh no, I do remember one run-in too. Hey, the relationship that I was telling you about that you know I found out that she was cheating on me. Mm-hmm. So I was shopping through the liquor store, looking for something, and I'm going down one aisle. She comes around the aisle, looks up the aisle, turns around and walks away. And I just kept walking down the aisle. I was like, there we go. I win.
You know, I got a kind of a weird one. This is kind of out there, but my wife, we've been on and off for a long time before we were
like what, 90 years?
Serious. Yeah, like 95 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was off by 5.
Like our parents weren't even born yet, and we were like, you know, our cells were straight up banging before they were even zygotes. But anyways, during one of our breakups, I don't even know if she knows this, so maybe she might be sick of listening by now. Maybe she'll never know unless someone tells her. But I actually saw her on a date with someone while we were broken up, and now we're married.
I think you told me about that.
Yeah, and I was like, do I like this?
Yeah,
no, I don't like this.
We were living together.
Yeah.
I think you told me about that, and then she showed up shortly over later at the house. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think maybe we were casual at that point. I try to be honest with everybody where it's like I think 100% of the time I've been with somebody, they know whether we're just dating, seriously dating, in a relationship. You know what I mean? It's very commonly, very plainly laid out where we expect. So I very rarely get the, oh, you cheated on me or I cheated on you thing, because we're both like on the same page. And if their expectation is different than my expectation, we'll hash that out. But it's not necessarily like a betrayal just because we expected different things. You know what I mean? At a certain point in time. I think that, I mean, it's a long and hard battle for me to have like grown to the point where I am now. And all those dating skills are wasted because I'm never using them again, as far as I know.
What dating scale? Oh, skills.
Like all these, like,
I thought you were saying dating scales. I'm like, you're trying. What the scales are you talking about?
Right. No, I'm just talking about like all these. Every time I start talking about relationships, I can speak from a point of wisdom because I've fucked up so many times. Yeah. So now that I've honed all these crafts, they're just collecting dust and never.
Ultimate pickup artist over here. Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I've had some good lines. I shared some of my classic, like, top of the head improvised pickup lines with Adam and Robbie, and I think now's a good time to share them too, because honestly I'm going to try to revisit them in my life as much as possible, because they were such home runs and they were complete originals and they were improvised that I'm super proud of them.
We were talking about that, and like after last Sunday we hung out with, we
had a little jam session
with Fletch. It was very interesting. I started thinking about it. So I did card tricks.
Interesting.
That was my thing.
So as soon as the deck opens, the legs open.
No.
There must have been some damn good card tricks. Like, wait, what's that behind your ear? Yeah. What's that in your pants?
It was usually like, okay, so if I could get so I had one trick that I could sort the cards out in order, even after shuffling them. Even after shuffling the cards, I could get the cards in order.
I know the trick. I don't know how to do it, but I've seen it.
Then I have a couple trick decks that I could do, different manipulations to get their card and stuff like that. So, and I'll do that. I was like, all right, so how about this? If I get your card, you get your card again.
Kiss.
What?
We got a kiss, right?
No, well, yes, I got that on a cruise. I did that one on a cruise. But it was always just
cruise
like,
is a pretty serious date. That's a big investment.
It was always right. We'll go talk. We'll go have a drink.
I'm gonna hit a home run if I get your card.
No. It was always if I get your card, we'll go have a drink, and that ended up we ended up hanging out and stuff like that.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. Is that the lamest way you've ever picked up a girl? Is card tricks?
The lamest. I mean,
is that the most embarrassing way you've ever picked up a girl? Because I picked up a girl with Magic the Gathering once.
Yeah,
I knew her from junior high. I found out we were going to the same college. Hadn't seen her in a long time, but I was interested in her last time I saw her, so I was by default interested in her when I found out she was around. Yeah. And like we went to her house, hung out, played Magic, and by the end of the game of Magic the Gathering, I had a girl's shirt off, and I was like, no, this is the lamest thing I can imagine ever in history.
So I was super drunk, and I can't remember the full thing. But hold on. But yes,
we celebrate our failures and our victories on this show.
Yeah. So the Red Lionhead said that he just pulls his hair off from his ponytail because
game over.
He has this
luscious mane.
Exactly. It's his name is Red Lionhead. He has this red hair and just nice. I'm jealous.
Own it, dude. Yeah, own it.
Every time I see him stream, I'm like, man, I remember when I had hair. But that was always a pickup line.
Yeah, it
wasn't really a pickup line.
It was just trademark.
Exactly. It was just my thing. And girls was like, oh, can I just rub my hair? Oh, okay, we're kissing.
But the same way that you remember Mike's friend Jared, who had like the afro, like the Mars Volta afro, and like the very skinny like 70s style.
But Jared had that. Exactly.
Like I think you guys were both trademarks in the same circle.
He had that Prince look, and I had the long hair and the skinny jeans, and everybody was like, okay,
Like people who didn't know you probably recognize you guys from like being out and about.
But yeah, Makoa Chaos, he said that I remember your magic tricks. So he went to high school with me, and I used to also use my magic tricks to hustle people out of their food because my parents would give me money for the week for lunch money for the week,
and you would stash it,
and I would stash it. Exactly.
Me too.
I'd buy whatever extracurricular stuff I want to do with that, let it be, skateboarding.
I would rent games from Blockbuster Video.
Yeah, or something like that. But I would then, somebody would have like an extra sandwich, and I'll be like, all right, let's same thing. And I think
this is all I'll eat today.
And I think that's where it started. That I started using the magic tricks for that, and I was like,
a good icebreaker.
It is, and that's exactly what it is. It is an icebreaker because even then, even if it's not just I'm doing it for this one person just to talk to this person. All of a sudden, I have a whole bunch of other people coming around. I was like,
sure.
Wait,
you have an audience.
What's going on here?
Me, I just have to rely on my crushing wit and charm.
I've never seen it.
On a date once, I was like, we were eating Jimmy John's, and I was like, those Brussels sprouts look like green sperm. And I got laid off that. That was a bad one. I've had some really lame, the pickup line I used on my wife when we were, the first time dating in high school. I was like, when I ask you out, what is your answer going to be? And I thought that was like really clever. And she was like, when the hell's that going to be? And I was like, shit. I haven't even got an answer yet, and I've already crashed and burned. But the answer was eventually yes. But it's like, come on, you gotta. It just showed me what kind of relationship we were gonna have, right? That she was gonna slap me around and put me in my place.
We talked about last week about Tinder and like. My disposition for Tinder was like, oh, it's a hookup thing. I'm not gonna use it. But then when I met Kate, she had in her profile that she collected Tamagotchis. And that she had you. That was her pickup line on you. She had me, and I asked her, and I think I had to go back because we were talking about Tinder, and I was like, like about this time last year was when I first messaged her. Mm-hmm. And I had to go back not too long. I was like, well, let me see what my first message was. It was pretty much like, so tell me about your Tamagotchi collection. That was like pretty much what it was, because I was like, oh, I'm interested. But yeah, I've used. I don't think I've used bad pickup lines.
Interest. Okay. I gotta share my. It was so good.
Dave feels like he's gonna explode here if he doesn't share this.
Yes. Okay. I challenge anyone to tell me that they've had a better pickup line than this, and that A, they didn't hear it in a movie. B, they made it up on the spot. Et cetera, et cetera. This is so good. I don't want to hype it too much, but I'm
you're
sure
hyping it way too much.
Eventually, someone's gonna use it in a movie or something. So I texted this girl, and I didn't know if she had a boyfriend or not, and I wanted to find out, but I didn't want to crash and burn too bad if the answer was yes. So I was like, "Are you hiring for the position of boyfriend?" And she was like, "I might be accepting applications." Wink, blush, blush, blush. And I was like, just had this light bulb moment, and I didn't set this up or anything. I was like, "I'm qualified for many positions. If you have any openings available." That was so good. She was just like, wow. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, that was good. And I was like, I know, I was there too. And of course it worked, but I just thought that was so funny.
God, yeah.
So good. Dave was, I was off the top of my head.
Dave hyped that up so much.
Oh, man. I if this video stands the test of time and we get all the feedback, I have to know if anyone can beat that. I want to know if someone's beaten that.
Yeah, I mean, but like pickup lines, I've never really.
But it wasn't. I didn't set it up
right
in the context of like wanting to deliver a pickup line. And pickup lines aren't my thing either. But it was just that's the way the text conversation went.
Sometimes I would like jokingly, like with the person that I'm with, it's like I would jokingly set.
Did you fall from heaven?
Exactly. Do stuff like that. Do like stupid pickup lines like that. But it's like we're right together.
I don't think those fly anymore, even like sarcastically. Because before it could be like, haha, good one. I have a friend who is a really good artist, and I kind of reconnected with her over Facebook just casually because I saw something she drew, and I was like, wow, that's really good. Could you draw me? And I was like, huh. Because we all know that's what the stupid shit that people say. It's like, I don't actually mean it.
I'll pay you an exposure.
For the site. Yeah, exactly. It would be great exposure for you to design all my logos, and then you can pay your landlord an exposure bucks. Yeah. And we'll see how that goes. And you'll be
still trying to think about like about pickups, because I think like honestly that's probably and I'm looking at it over there, Rubik's Cube. I could solve a Rubik's Cube, and that was also something that I would use, because again I think that
I think if you're thinking that far that you're like planning your strategy.
But I was never planning this.
No, not you. I just mean people in general.
Oh,
like if you're thinking that far that you're like strategizing how you're going to pick up girls, that's kind of like bad, because the whole point is to be you and be spontaneous, right?
Yeah,
and if you're that.
When I was doing like card magic, like card magic tricks, I kept
decks of cards. I kept you already had.
But I was keeping deck of cards on me because I knew that in case somebody was like, oh, Robbie does magic tricks.
In case an 11 walked by, you could be like,
No,
Time to come for you.
and then she looks at me and she's like, "Don't speak to me." 3, like no.
I was at a comic store and like a 15 walked in and everybody was like,
Well, comic book store at 15.
No,
is
no,
a
no,
what?
no, no. She wasn't even a Florida 15. She was a California 15.
Okay.
And if a 10 walked in, everybody would be like, "Oh wow, can I talk to you?" But if a 15 walked in, everybody's like, "What are you doing here? Like, wait, you can't be here.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta leave. This isn't right. The fabric of reality is unraveling around me."
Red line heads pickup line. You know that I'm a bassist. Want to see my finger playing?
I like the ones that are like kind of creepy. I think it was Dane Cook who said, he was like, "Hey, are you walking to your car alone later?" It's so awful. But if you actually said that, I think if they laugh, that's kind of like the goal, right?
Yeah.
So it might actually work. Like making a joke about being a terrible rapist might actually work.
I'm trying. So
I can see the gears turning.
Now you said something like that. I know I used a pickup line, like a very cheesy pickup line. What pickup line it was, I don't know, but it was at the UCF show. Not the UCF. Yes, it was the UCF show.
I've used the "I'm in a band" once.
Yeah, of course you have. No.
One time it came up later in the conversation, and it actually all blew up and ended at that point because her last boyfriend had left her for a band. He was like, "I can either be on tour or continue this relationship," and he chose the band. So when she found out I was in the band, she's like, "I'm not interested."
Hey, you tell me about that.
But this other time, there was like a really cute bartender or whatever, and we were kind of bullshitting talking, and I was like, "Hey, I play music." That's the only time I ever. It's such a douchey move.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, this is my card that I wear on my forehead at all times."
But besides people here, I don't ever bring up stuff that I play music to people.
The real pro move is to get your buddy to bring it up for you in common company.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm trying to think what it was because it was a really awful pickup line, and then we ended up talking for like the next couple months.
Intentionally awful, or like you did the best you could with what you had.
Intentionally awful. Yeah. It was intentionally awful. It was one of those like self-deprecating or something like that.
Sure.
That I was it's like, all right, cool. And then she was like, "Hey, what? You're funny. Let's hook up."
I've done that. We used to do that when we promoted. We'd be like, "Hey, could you throw this away for me?" and give him the flyer.
Or how I promoted the episode today. How I promoted the episode today. Want good content, want a good podcast, want good hosts.
Until you find it.
Until you find it, listen to us.
Yeah. There's just an unlimited appetite. Everyone's starting podcasts. Like, this is the time. Just wait. Mark this. Just 5 years from now, look where we'll be.
But there's still
we will have 100,000 subscribers, and we will still be working, and we'll be like, "Told you so."
No, we'll have 20 listeners.
20 listeners?
No. But yeah, but besides, I mean, most of the times, like, I met somebody else, like we ended up hooking up, was like either a friend of a friend, or how do people also
meet people?
The one that stole my flux capacitor.
Uh-huh.
Her and I went to high school together, and then she like reconnected with me.
I like her, even though things didn't end well. Like, she's cool.
Yeah,
right?
she was cool.
Yeah.
You still talk to her?
No, I ran into her at Walmart not long after that. I think I might have told you. I think me and you were like still cool then. That I was like, "Hey, guess who I ran into?" But
you might have told me that. I just ignore everything you said.
She was like on the verge of being married or something last time.
Was she?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
At that point, I don't know what the hell is now.
She sent me a message randomly like a few years back, but regardless, that's nothing.
Cool.
That's nothing to do with this.
But
yeah.
I was going to go somewhere else before you mentioned that. Now you completely derailed me.
I derailed you.
Mm-hmm. I was like right waiting for my opening to bring something up, and then you were like,
about pickup lines.
No. Who knows?
Yeah. No, but. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of books and stuff like that about different techniques. There's different things that you can learn from that.
I just feel like that's the wrong approach.
It is. When you're forcing it like that, it is.
It's like singing to a plant to get it to grow. You know what I mean? It's like, you're focusing on the wrong things.
Right.
You should be about just putting on your best face, really, not like this whole scam and this technique. I feel like it's almost like an admission of hopelessness.
Yes,
right?
the playbook, Fletch. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Like, it's like if you need it, if you stoop to that level, you're admitting that you'll never succeed on your own. You know what I mean? And then that lack of confidence is going to be self-defeating. So you're doomed at that point. You're incel to the max. I think a lot of people are really hard on themselves too. Like, I have a friend that I talked to, and the guy I bought that $8 game for, I don't think I'd ever seen a picture of him. And he showed me, and he's always so down on himself. And I was like, dude, if you literally the worst thing you've got going for you is being down on yourself. Like if you just, put it out there, you might fail a lot, but you're gonna succeed a couple times too, and it's gonna feel good.
I mean, you live and learn. You fail, you learn from your mistake, and continue on.
That's why I said we celebrate our failures too.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
The girl that I told, the bartender that I told that I was in a band, she did not give a fuck. She did not care. But then another time, like a 15 that I shouldn't have even been talking to was like, yeah, here's my number.
Well, there's been times that at like bars and stuff like that, I've used the whole I do mixed martial arts, and some girls are like, you what?
Well, I feel like if you say you do mixed martial arts, you say that you're into self-improvement. Right?
Yeah,
I
guess that's the one, because there was one bartender that I was wearing. I have a jiu-jitsu shirt that's it's the you call it, the sriracha, and it says Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu. So right there were two things right there: Hawaii and Jiu-Jitsu. And she was curious about what the difference was between Hawaiian Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, oh, well, it's not a at
least she knew enough to ask about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Exactly. And I was like, well, there's no difference. It was just the name of the company, and like we started talking and stuff like that. She was really cute, but nothing ever came to fruition. But her and I were talking for a good like 2 hours. Like I was at the bar,
Yeah, you can't. I've never.
But that's one of those. She's in the service industry.
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. What I was going to say was like, when you don't have circles of friends that you like know people and you meet people through, how do you pick up people? Like how if you move to like you mentioned something about you always meet people through other people. Is if I were to move to another state and be single. Like, how the hell am I going to, other than Tinder, like, how the hell am I going to, I don't have a circle of friends, like, draw.
Well, you would get circle of friends,
eventually
either through work, through social events. You just meet people that, like, are, familiar with whatever you're interested in, say.
I feel way more free to move now that I'm married, where it's like, what do I care starting over a new circle of friends? I never go out anyways, hardly. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you and like my big thing, like I've been trying to like harp more people on like at least on my Instagram, like more positivity, rather than all stuff. And it's like if you're unhappy with where you're living, you're not, barring some like extreme situations, most people can just up and go. They just don't want to.
Well, some people don't have the first month's rent or the deposit or whatever to just go whenever they can. Well, but I think people get tied to their family too. It's like, my mom's sick. I see her every Sunday. Well, I don't really want to live on her own.
But before we continue on with that, but Makoto Kato said that his issue is he doesn't ever go out, so meeting people is rough, and that was my issue too. Totally. Because again, I met Kate through Tinder because of and I said it before, 8:30 to like 4:30 I'm at work. From 5:30 until 8:30 I'm training, and then after that, just recently now I'm streaming, I'm doing the podcast, and then even then I'll wake up in the morning, run at 6:45. So it's like I don't really have time to go out and meet people. So And I honestly don't enjoy going to bars and meeting people like that either. So
it's so loud, and like, especially if you're hitting on somebody who works there, is like, nothing's ever gonna happen,
so for me, Tinder was a thing, and I was just like, okay, I found somebody that matches my interests based on her small little profile. Cool, and we started dating. But
it's definitely
other than
way
that,
more time effective than going on a first date and finding out you have nothing in common with someone and never talking to them again.
What would I have done? Start hanging out with you. You're married,
Right. A lot of my friends are married too. So.
Exactly, your friends are married, so it's like, who am I gonna find from that friend group?
Yeah, that must be a very isolating feeling.
But what were you talking about before?
No, I was just talking about how hard it is to meet, and even friends. Like, just if you move somewhere, if you don't have like a
that's what it was. So and you're talking about being connected to family and stuff like
that. You can't move away because I don't really have any family left other than my brother.
So one of the arguments that kind of moved into me breaking up with my ex was I told her about my wishes to move.
Your 5-year plan?
Well, yeah, pretty much. And I told her, in 2022, I'm moving to Hawaii. I don't care where I'm at in my life, what's going on in my life. I need to move.
That's your deadline.
I'm moving to Hawaii. Yes, my parents are planning on moving to Hawaii as well, but after going there now, visiting regularly, I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is where I want to be. So I'm going
I've had that feeling before.
I'm going to move to Hawaii, and I've had exactly my 5-year plan, whatever it is, 2022, and she was just like, no. I am not moving. I'm not moving away from my mom. Blah blah.
I didn't know she was that close to their family.
Yeah. She's really close to her family, and she was like, "I'm not moving that far from my family." Blah blah blah. And that was like a huge argument. Suck. And she was not. She was like, "Nope." Well, and like her thing is like, "Well, what if we have kids? How you're gonna raise them there?" I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna raise them there." Mm-hmm. Where the hell is why I raise them?
Let's just pretend that was the only problem in your relationship and everything else is perfect. How tragic would that be? That you had like gotten that far in a relationship and like been ready to build it and move forward, and then being like, oh, we have this great glaring gaping flaw that cannot be mended between the two of us. Oh well, I guess that's it. The end. Yeah, I forgot to mention it a second ago when you said that you talked to the bartender about jiu-jitsu. I feel that martial arts is kind of like the same crowd of running, where it's like, oh, if you're into running, you're into self-improvement, you're into challenging yourself, you're into goals and priorities, you know. So it's automatically like, I know a lot about you just by finding out that you do martial arts.
And I wanted to talk about it today, but we'll probably talk about it next week. You know, you brought up last week about the type A, type B personality.
Sure.
And I wanted to talk about that, but we obviously talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. Sure. But yeah, and I think so, because, you know, I like to have the person that
you're goal-oriented.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It doesn't need to be you are a fitness goal-oriented person. Sure. You just need to be a goal-oriented person and follow through with it.
They bleed. There's overlap. The more fitness goal-oriented you get, it carries over to like.
But it's just like I don't care. It could be something small as, you know, you want to, you know. I don't know. I'm trying to think about like right now. Kate wants to learn how to play the ukulele. Cool. I'm trying to learn how to play guitar. I'm still, you know, learning how to play bass. You know, stuff like that. So it's just like cool. You know, it's a small goal, but it's still a goal, and she's been following through with it. My ex, you know, she was not goal oriented. She would say, I want to do this. Do 2 minutes worth of it, see it's hard, and give up. And I was like, no,
do you think not my maybe kind she enjoyed the fantasy of the object more than she enjoyed the object? You know what I mean? It's like window shopping for life goals.
Possibly.
Yeah. See, I have a problem with goals too, because especially when you talk about learning an instrument, to me, I have a hard time reconciling art with work. Is like, I sang because I was naturally good at it and I enjoyed doing it, so I didn't have
let's say naturally good at it. We'll say you're natural, not good.
I mean, you know, no, natural. I was good enough. Better than all the other idiots who wanted to stand. That's for sure. Better than all the idiots who wanted to get in front of a microphone in the group. Like, let's be honest. So, you know, I didn't have to go for it. You enjoy things you're good at because you're good at them. So I always went. You know, if I'm already good at it, I'm just going to develop it, and it's not going to be work. So now, for me to like say develop an interest in playing drums after we jammed the other day, like that involves a lot of things. I'm going to have to get a drum set. I'm going to have to go somewhere soundproof.
Or you could just come here and play.
Yeah, I could come here. Actually, Fletch wants to build a sound barn in his backyard, so I would be literally at his backyard.
I'll be there too.
Please give me a key. I will be there almost every day, just playing the drums with headphones on, listening to music that I like. I think that's my next. And other than graduating college, which I'm really close to.
Redline had mentioned that you know he's in the same boat because he also trains martial arts, works full time and streams just like me. So it was like, you know, that's a lot. Obviously,
a very structured life. If you
I started streaming after Kate and I got together because I wanted to start streaming before when I was with my ex, but it was just
why am I waiting? Why
she was like no. So like,
Netflix and chill with me. I think people misunderstand how big the actually watching Netflix is. Netflix.
God, you're in that Netflix and chilled.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's
an old meme.
I'm not saying it die. I'm not saying it for the meme. I'm saying it because it defines a relationship. It's like we're hanging out together, spending time watching TV. Like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what other overlapping interests do I have? I mean, my wife now, plays some video games, but what about single player games? You know, what if she's into a single player game and I'm into a multiplayer game? You know, how are we gonna overlap that time together? So Netflix is like the glue that holds together many relationships, friendships, romances, marriages, you name it.
Yeah,
it's not just for the meme. It's just a 3-word explanation of spending time with someone.
Zelda and Chill Spotify playlist.
Yeah, Zelda's a single player game unless you play like Four Swords, but we're not going to go there. But I want to get into Zelda really bad. I want to get a DS Lite or I'm sorry, not DS Lite, a Switch Lite. But I'm worried that I won't be able to connect GameCube controllers.
Nope, you won't be able to.
Yeah, I'm worried that multiplayer is going to be a problem with other people. Like one screen, it's not really the same.
Well, I mean, you think
if it's in
I think they said you could, but that's that.
Yeah.
We're not
Anyways,
talking about the video game stuff right now.
I'm so close to getting a Switch. Like you guys don't even know.
Do it.
It's at the forefront of my mind almost every day.
Yeah, well, but yeah. So Joe, that's one thing I want to talk. I want to propose. If you care to share at all about it, you saying that it's hard for you to meet people.
Yeah,
have you looked into online dating at all? Be it what's the Plenty of Fish, Tinder, Match.com, any of those at all?
I mean,
not that I'm trying to play matchmaker. I'm just curious other people's experience.
The first hurdle is to find someone who also wants a partner, right? Like if they're just whatever, want to stay single, or if they're married or whatever, then they're a total waste of time. Like just having a dating app where you can put those two people together is already like halfway there. You just at that point you just have to make a good impression on each other,
Yeah. And he was saying, back here he but over where he's at now, no, he hasn't tried it yet. Because I'm just curious. So did that work? Because you're pretty much you pretty much work late, as it is.
24-hour Walmart, baby.
That's not the way it works, but
no, I mean you can go there after work is what I'm saying. There's always going to be people there.
24-hour Walmart. I am not trying to find somebody. I'm not going to try to pick somebody up that's at a Walmart at 11:00 p.m. here in Orlando.
In general, I agree with you, but college Walmarts are actually ripe for the picking because, first of all, everybody goes there at weird hours because everybody has class, everybody whatever. So there's actually like a culture of late night Walmart over by our college here, UCF. Yeah. Me and Drew used to go there all the time. Do stupid shit, throw balls over the aisles, drive around the parking lot with the horn held down for no reason. Just
how old are you?
21, 20.
Yeah.
I just like doing dumb and silly stuff. I can't lie. Yeah, not malicious stuff. Just silly stuff.
Again, like I was saying, I think that you're kind of like the same way as I am. I mean, actually, I think that Makokeo, you're more. You're more social than I am. You have your group of friends over there that people that we went to high school with. For me, it was just like I didn't really have anybody, and especially when me and my ex broke up, it was just I literally had no friends at that point. I didn't have anybody that I didn't have anybody that would just call me up, and be like, hey, let's hang out or anything like that. No, so I was just, so like the people that like even like when I told them, because they were all obviously invited to my wedding, and I was just like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that. I had the invitation and everything.
Yeah, you had the invitation, and
I might still have the invitation.
And people are like, oh yeah, you're getting ready for the wedding, right? I was like, oh yeah, by the way, about that, yeah, no, it's not happening. So, anyways,
oh wait, mood.
It's hashtag mood.
I'm cool. No Netflix and chill.
No, and that was the thing. People bring it up. I had my manager. He's like, oh, you're getting ready to tie a knot. I'm like, nope, not anymore. So, anyways, but yeah, the
knots are burned.
But obviously, the only friends I really had from her, were her friends. It wasn't like we hung out or anything like that. But they would be over at my place. We would go out and drink with her friends and stuff like that. But so I had nobody. And I was like, again, I was way too busy. So I was like, all right.
I think the main
Tinder it is.
The main thing I have to put out there for people, if they take away one thing today, message of the day, is that the fear of failure is always worse than the experience of failure. Like,
oh yeah,
like going to a job and applying and not getting hired is not that bad, but like dreading it and sweating it and like worrying about it is really terrible. Same thing with relationships. It's like you're the only witness to this failure. You know what I mean?
I know this.
You just ignore it and let it brush off.
This is completely unprofessional, considering we're on this super professional. Super professional thing.
AAA quality.
No, but it's what you were saying. I posted something because, like I said, I'm trying to do more like positive stuff and stuff like that. Well, so one of the things that I shared yesterday,
I think it makes sense for you because you're not really a Facebook guy. So if you're coming into this place that fucking sucks and you hate it, the only reason to be there is to be positive.
Yeah. So it's like one of the quotes that I shared is actually from a song, but the song is based off of a speech, and the line is, "Don't worry about the future or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum." And that's the thing. And I really think that that's true because it's like, and that was the thing that my ex didn't understand whenever, and I talked about it before. I might have just talked to straight. Oh no, I think I talked to you in person about it when you were asking about what happened between her and I. And one of the things that we didn't see eye to eye about was that I did not get worked up about stuff. I didn't get stressed out about stuff that was out of my control. I didn't get upset because I guess I saw it as kind of wasted, almost like wasted emotions.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to waste my time.
It's like a fire, right? The more you feed it, the more it just burns.
Right, exactly. I'm not going to waste my time to worry about something I'm not in control about, when I could use that energy, I could use that emotion in something else.
Yeah, sure. You only have so much emotional and physical energy,
right? So
it's not worth it.
So again, don't worry. If you fail, you fail. Just grab yourself by the bootstraps and move on.
See, I have that in like a type B way where it's like whatever comes to me, I'm just gonna like take a swing at it. I'm gonna knock it out. I don't really like you said, goal oriented. That's not really me per se. I do the best I can at that moment. Yeah. Do I know what the budget for the day is? Hell no. Does me knowing what the budget is make what I do any better? Probably not. Yeah. It's like just what I can reach. Like if you put me on the battlefield, I'm not worried about what I can't see. I have to shoot what's in front of me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, and that's it. Yeah, exactly. So now Makokeo was talking about he got his car towed, and instead of getting pissed, he just accepted it, and that's it. Exactly. If you parked in a area that's like, oh, this is a towaway zone, and you got it towed, it's like you can't be upset at the tow person for taking your car. I think
also too, people approach life with this mindset that it's only going to be an upward climb. There's going to be stuff that happens. It's just going to happen. It's part of the agreement.
There's no
guarantee.
Well, I never agreed to this. My parents agreed to this without my consent, and now I have to sue them because I have a mortgage. I have a car payment. I didn't ask for that.
I didn't ask to be born. No. I don't know. It's not just an upward thing. There's sideways, there's down, and you first of all, like you said, you can't control it. But second of all, sometimes you have to accept. Like you said, if you parked in that spot, you brought it on yourself. Like for instance, I worked at a grocery store, and I've sold alcohol to thousands of people, and the one time that I didn't ID them, they were undercover, and I got busted, and it cost me $900 and 100 hours of community service and all this other dumb shit. But like, it's just whatever. You just roll with it.
Exactly. And I mean, I'll disclose more later about shit that's like gone on with my life. But yeah, it's just like there was a turning point in my life that, again, I'll talk about it in another another podcast.
Type A, type B thing?
No, not really type A, type B thing, but just in another podcast. But I had something happen to my life, and it's just like
I feel like this is probably during the time I've known you.
We weren't really hanging out regularly, right?
I still saw it, like you going from, like you said, we're just a bunch of fuck ups,
Yeah, and that was a turning point. And I think that's when I started realizing, if I'm not in control of things, there's no reason for me to get upset. And that's when I wouldn't say I became like more of a hippie or anything like that, but it's just like I kind of like it's just like
you became more adult. For sure.
Again, if I'm not in control, then I don't need to worry about it. If something's upsetting me in my life, I could quickly change that. If I'm worried about it, or if I'm unhappy, or if I'm upset, my job. I hated one of my jobs. I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
So instead of coming home and complaining to my ex every day, oh my life sucks, blah blah, I started applying. Places, and then I got picked up.
I feel like also is like if you're miserable and you're telling people how miserable you are, you're just multiplying that.
Right, exactly.
You're just putting it on other people.
It's that whole thing, you put out in the world what you want back. I don't know.
Well, I don't agree with it in like the Zen way that the universe responds to it.
No, screw you. But I have some crystals that you need.
Crystals, I have crystalstore.com, not a burgercrystals.com. But like my friend Susan, she's like a big hippie or whatever, and we talk about how like you play the soundtrack in your brain, right? Yeah. Like whatever you're feeling at any given moment doesn't have to be what you're feeling. Like if you're like, "Ooh, I'm angry," you can be like, "Now I'm not angry." Yep. You know what I mean? "Oh, I'm sad." Now I'm not sad. I'm not talking about like clinical depression and chemical imbalance, like you're just going to flip a switch and turn that off. But I'm talking about the soundtrack in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, is you're the one playing.
And Reliant had brought up a thing saying that he's miserable at his work, but streaming helps. And yeah, if you have something like that, that's
to look forward to something on a day-to-day basis.
And I hated my last job, and my ex, one of the many things that led to our breakup was one of the things that she told me was I had to choose between her and martial arts.
Why would she say that to you?
And
what's her? What do you think her motivation is?
Her motivation was, I'm doing things that I want to do, which is what I told you. Again, I think we had this conversation in private.
Yeah, I know, but I kind of wanted to
what was that she was jealous of how I had different hobbies. I had my drumming because that's when I was playing with the band.
Taking time away from her.
That's when I was playing with the band. So it's like, I played drums. I got into martial arts and I was getting real big into martial arts. I started competing and stuff like that.
That's definitely the number one thing.
So she was upset that I had hobbies, and that's really what it came down to. That I was able to afford these things because I had a career that I can pay for these things that I want to. I had my dad teaching me Kyokushin because it's something that he's done for 45 years. So I
didn't know that before you were into it yourself.
Yeah, so he's done it for so long, and I had all these things, but I hated my job, and what I would do is I had my outlet. My outlet was martial arts, and when she told me, I'd choose between her and martial arts, I quickly told her, I'm like, listen, I'm not.
You can't do that to me.
I'm not choosing because I would choose martial arts.
I can't imagine from my personality and my perspective, I can't imagine putting someone in that spot where it's like, choose this thing. You know what I mean? It's like, like. I was in a relationship where when I met this girl, she was in a relationship, and us kind of like talking and being friends and getting close caused her to be out of that relationship because I was kind of telling her to follow your heart, whatever. And then when her heart led her away from me, like, how can I complain about that?
Right.
Like I'm happy for you. Do whatever makes you happy. You can only pursue what you want and see how it turns out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it sounds little when you say it as like want and desire. It sounds unimportant and kind of dirty and petty, but at the end of the day, what else is there? Like, if it interests you, then go for it.
Right. And Red Lion Head, I'm happy you have that outlet of streaming, because I mean, I enjoy watching your streams. I made a friend out of him, because I found his stream and stuff like that. So if you find something that's an outlet, that's some people have unhealthy outlets. Some people have healthy outlets.
Everyone's kind of seeking oblivion in a way, right? Like, we're all seeking an escape, and like, you can't let the
oblivion
escape.
Or nirvana.
Ooh, good question. For some people, oblivion is nirvana.
Okay,
but yeah, you just have to.
Skyrim, right? Oh, sorry.
No, Morrowind is nirvana.
Okay.
Oblivion is oblivion.
but yeah, no, and I mean, people want
Skyrim is purgatory.
People want that inner peace, or whatever the hell that you want to call it.
Just a vent,
But yeah, you find something that it makes you happy. Do it. Don't let somebody stop you. And that was my big thing when my ex told me, you have to choose between me or martial arts. I told her, it's exactly, it's unfair, but also I would choose this just because it's keeping me sane. It's keeping me happy.
I also think that they have to acknowledge that there's a part of you that exists without them. You know what I mean? Like, that part has to live and breathe too.
Oh, and Red Lionhead brings up a good thing. If a significant other makes you choose between a hobby you like and them, it is really a selfish move. It's pretty much your happiness doesn't matter as much as mine. Yeah. Which exactly is what it was, because again, it was. She pretty much wanted me just to be around her 24/7. I had to have no hobbies because she was upset that she had no hobbies. And the thing is, I encourage her. I'm like, listen, you want to do this? I will help fund it. You want to do this?
It's not just about a hobby. It's about a path.
Right.
Like, you're on this path, and she thinks it's going to go too far away from her. And it's like, you can come too. You know what I mean? It's like,
obviously there were health reasons that she couldn't do. Martial arts.
I'm not saying martial arts specifically,
but including her on stuff. My motorcycle. I enjoyed riding my motorcycle. She would never get on my motorcycle because she was scared of it.
I got to take her side on that one.
Oh, so you're not riding bitch with me?
I've been on motorcycles, but whenever you're like, you have a buddy who's like a cyclist, and he knows you've never been on a motorcycle, and you get on the back. What's the first thing he does?
Wheelie?
Goes 150 as a wheelie. Yes, every single time without exception.
Really?
I've been on like a Jixter going 8,000 miles an hour, screaming the whole time.
No, I wouldn't do. I'm not stupid like that. But
these are military guys. Yeah, so I'm referring to.
But she wanted to get into taxidermy. She was doing taxidermy, and I was like, listen, if you tell me what supplies you need, you tell me what you need to sell, because she was like, I need to tear out a ditch in the backyard. I'm like, cool. We'll see what we could do.
You did that? I didn't know.
No, I was getting ready to.
For like aging fossils or something like.
No, taxidermy. So
but why do you need a pit?
But no, it's not a pit.
She's not making kimchi.
It was a ditch
in the backyard.
It was like a runoff ditch.
Oh, okay.
It was for a drain to like drain.
I just imagined it the wrong way.
Drain fluids and stuff like that. Gotcha. Another thing was, she was like, oh well, I want to get into antique furniture collection so that way I could either resell it or rent it out.
It's big money.
Exactly. So I was like, cool. Once I got my Jeep, and I told her, I got this Jeep. I got this Jeep. I could fit so much more furniture in. And we went out all over the place picking stuff up, but she never did anything with it. And that's the thing.
Well,
like she would go all out and never.
The reason I keep trying to understand her perspective is because she's not here. So when you say that, oh, she got all this furniture, I say, oh, maybe she liked collecting. But you know what I mean. But at the same time, when I see that she gave you an ultimatum, and that's not fair and whatnot. But I'm just trying to.
But it's because she would find something, do it for about 3 weeks until something became hard, and then give up on it. And then here I was, 2 years into martial arts or something like that, and it was just like.
But don't you think if something like spoke to her, like taxidermy, that she would have stuck with it? Because like my wife, she for maybe 5 years, she did this thing where she bought a drum set on eBay, gave it a try, never got anywhere, sold it back on eBay. Got a guitar on eBay, gave it a try, never got anywhere, sold it back on eBay. And she did this with like 5 or 6 things.
But she kept trying new things, and
sure. Good. Well, I agree with you too that hobbies are so... People underestimate how important hobbies are. There's a girl that I work with. She is a lesbian, and she was basically engaged to this girl. But the other girl had everything. She had the income. They were half and half on a house, but it was in the other girl's name. So when they broke up badly... She literally lost everything. She lost the house, the car, the dog, everything. So now she's like, circling the drain, like, what the fuck do I do with my life? And I'm like, literally the first thing I said was get a hobby. Because if you're not pouring yourself into something, if you're not creating something, if you're not expressing yourself, you're just gonna like rot really quick. And
the guy who started Kyokushin, Masayama, his theory was everybody should be into 2 things. Music and martial arts.
Oh yeah, music is definitely.
And I really, and me training now, I really feel like, and me playing music, I really feel that is the case. I think that both music and martial arts are the way to go because martial arts, you got the you get the physical health and all of that. Music, you have the creativity outlet that's mental health.
Sure.
And that's a big thing. Sure, and I think that everybody should have some sort of it doesn't need to be music. Really, everybody needs to have some sort of creative outlet. And Red Lion had just said, his girlfriend is a talented artist that she paints and drawing, and that's her passion.
Sure,
and there
is something like super magical about music. If you think about music in the abstract, what it is and what it does for people, it's just so interesting. It's just vibrations that form notes that go together in certain ways and get these powerful emotional responses in many different spectrums. Yeah. When I talk to somebody and I meet somebody and they're like, "Nah, I don't really listen to music, or I don't really get music," they might as well tell me they're a serial killer. The reaction I give them is like,
"How can you not listen to music?"
Everybody's like, this is jingle for fucking auto parts, but there's actually a meme going around right now that's like, nobody, the classic, like nobody asked for this. Oh, O'Reilly, like what I mean? Music is just like in our blood. You could. You can learn music before you even learn a language. You can learn music like before you can even coordinate your motor skills.
And for like I said, for me, I feel really strongly because I'm doing the music.
All right, you
thing.
sold me. I'm going to do martial arts with you.
No, you don't. You don't need to do that. You have a tough schedule as well. So
actually, not right now. I don't know. All my classes are online, and I don't work a ton of hours. So yeah, let's do it. No, I can't do your schedule though. Something I can do more than there's always room for improvement.
So Monday through Sunday I'm training.
I've never done that with anything in my entire life. And that's the other thing too, like a lot of people, if you do a thing and you want to get better at it, you do something like that, even something stupid like League of Legends. And I just, for something that I enjoy, I don't know if I want to work business with pleasure like that, mix business with pleasure. Do I want to do it to the point where I hate it? Do I want to
Well, that's the thing, you shouldn't make your hobbies a job. I think that's what it is. But the thing is, I enjoy playing music, and I enjoy streaming. Like, is that a second job for me now?
Eventually, maybe, but obviously, right now, obviously we're doing this because we enjoy it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I just enjoy it. Is that there has been times that I've felt burnt out and I've taken a few days off, and it's it's hell. It's how, you know, obviously this we're doing it weekly. You know, I enjoy it. You know, if you know we get a demand and you know we get more, we want to do more. But you know, I think at that point, you know, we would be at a place that we could be like, okay, you could lead the episode while I'm gone for a few days, or I lead the episode. I don't know, but yeah.
You're thinking of flying to New York, aren't you? You're like, hey, it's the Dave Show. I brought my friend Sock Puppet. Hello.
Well, I do. I obviously, like I said, you know my schedule. I have fights, so you know my next fight my next fight's in October, but it's on a weekend. So I leave on a Friday, come back. Oh no.
You leave on Thursday?
No, I leave on Friday and I come back Thursday. I leave on Friday, come back Sunday, but Thursday is sleep because I fly out Friday morning.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Might come in. Who knows if it's here or somewhere else?
Yeah,
we could do it. We could do it over Discord if we have to.
Yeah. I don't know if there was more that you want to talk to.
Yeah, we're talking shop now. So
it's 11:30.
We explored the soul, like you said, with the body and the soul today. Martial
Wait,
arts.
What? You can play recording?
Banging.
Since when, Joe?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Obviously we could do that.
Yeah.
But we need the chat. It won't be right if the chat's not there.
Yeah. Like I was talking to Red Lionhead about it earlier. You know, we still need to work on the camera issue.
Yeah. We got.
But I mean, we have. I think we'll slowly improve things here and there. But yeah, you know, any kind of feedback, you can always let us know what to improve, what to change.
Or just a topic you want us to talk about. We're always looking for ideas.
Or send us topics. There's always that.
Some days I'm like in my car or at the grocery store and lightning strikes. And some days I just pick my nose and hope something falls out.
Fletch wants to know if he left his lunchbox in your car.
I never saw it to begin with.
He wouldn't know. He would not know. He would not know. There's so much trash in that car.
Yeah.
Red Lionhead suggestion is new host. Perfect. All right, so I'm
which both of us?
Yeah, so I
guess we're just paving the way for somebody else.
I already told Red Lionhead earlier today I'm replacing you with him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need to get like one of those CG.
Like put his like Discord box over my face.
No, I want the holographic Tupac, but with Red Lionhead. Okay. I want Red Lionhead right here.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What about a little like Star Wars, like "Help me, Obi-Wan, Kenobi, you're my only hope," right in the middle of the table? It's just like you and you're like,
oh my god,
great one, Red Lionhead.
Oh my god, if Red Lionhead was just hanging out here on the table, that'd be fun. I think I'm going to work on
like sitting Indian style with his shirt off, eating a bag of chips.
I think I'm going to work on that. I think once we start getting guests on here,
we got some effects. We know people.
Once we start getting guests and stuff, I'm gonna have them just sitting right here on the table.
That reminds me of a story. Did you ever see that music video we almost made in the band? So we were working with some people, like students, and they were...
What song was it?
Honestly, I don't remember. But they were exaggerating their ability, and our bassist, Adam, his availability wasn't as high as everyone else's. So they recorded video with us, and then in the middle of the music video, a photo of him went, bing, 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 bing. And then they were like, yeah, what do you think? Like, seriously... like pitched this to us, like, yeah, so this is what we got so far, and we were just like, are you serious?
No.
Yeah, that's when someone's.
I think I remember you guys getting ready for the music video, and because I think it was you took a call at the mall.
Yeah, there were more than one time, but anyways, it's just funny when when
you just said it was the biggest hunk of shit.
Yeah, when their pitch doesn't match, you know what I mean?
But that's the whole thing.
Overselling it, overhyping it.
No. Was it under promise, over deliver? That's the whole thing. That's what you gotta do. But they did the opposite way.
I couldn't believe the like confidence of like being super professional and presenting it a certain way when it was not that level at all.
It was right before his wedding. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's gonna do it for us. It's already 11:30.
Yeah. Put a fork in it.
Way past our bedtime. Thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yeah, good times, guys. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, so same bat time, same bat place, right? Next
same
week.
Same How Did You channel.
So obviously
your juicy cuties signing off.
Obviously, Dave, Skunk Dave. He doesn't stream, but you can still find him. Skunk Dave.
I'm getting there. I'm buying a camera within the next couple of days.
Me, WTF Robbie. Find me on Twitch. I'll probably be on tomorrow. I think I'm doing
slapping the bass.
I think I'm doing Rocksmith followed by some Pokemon tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right, guys.
See ya.
Have a good night.